Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. What announcements do we have? Let's see here. We're rolling to Nigeria in about 11, 12 days. We're going to Nigeria. And guys, hold on. Let me look something up before I say this. So I didn't know. I thought there were only 30 days in July, but there are actually 31 days. And so there are 10 more days to get your grind on. So I'm happy about that. I need that extra day. I just, for some odd reason, I thought there were only 30 days in August, but there are 31 days in August. I don't know. That was just random thought. This got to be the dumbest argument against the transatlantic slavery I've ever heard. You know what? But we're gonna address it today. You are correct. That's one of the ones. One of the more dumber arguments. But I want people to call in and give their reason why. Where the slave ships at, and then then my follow-up question is, how did white people get here? Because if your argument and your proof of being indigenous to America is that there's no slave ships, then where's the slave ships that brought white people? So I guess that means that white people are indigenous to they're indigenous to America as well. So yeah, that's the topic today. Those are the questions. You know how we do. We'll put the link in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Guys, I need everybody who is watching this. All right. Everybody who is watching this, please go. Again, please go to documentary.searchforhuru.com. And please buy and support the documentary, you guys. I will greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody that's watching this, please support, please buy the documentary. I will greatly appreciate it, you guys. I don't ask for a lot. This is my plea to you all. Some of y'all call it begging. All right. Like, I didn't do a GoFundMe. Again. Oh, so you believe there ain't no slave ships either? Okay, all right. I didn't do a GoFundMe to get this going. Like y'all, I bootstrap all this myself. So please support and yeah. Buy the documentary, guys. Again, go to documentary.searchforwhoer.com. I will put the link in the chat room. And go and buy the documentary. I will greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate y'all. Without further ado, hold on. Let me pull up some. Well, the thing is, again, the question is, all right, if the slave ships didn't exist, and if you're saying, that is your proof that you're indigenous to America, then where are the ships that brought white people? That's all I'm asking. We'll roll with your theory. Okay. We will roll with your theory that the slave ships didn't exist, which is laughable. But anyways, we'll roll with it. But if that's the case, then how did white people get here? Dixon Official, thank you, man. Thank you. We'll buy your documentary, Dynasty. You're doing an amazing job. Yeah, please, guys, buy the documentary, man. Everybody, like, I want this to be the number one. And again, this is completely independent. I'm is streaming. It's on my own platform. And in fact, how it works, guys, once you buy the documentary, create a login. The documentary is yours forever, and on any device, all you gotta do is log in and you can watch it wherever you're at. Again, wherever you are at, you could just log in and watch it. That's how it works. So, again, please stream the documentary. Documentary.searchforwhoer.com is the link. Link is on the screen. Link is in the chat room. And guys, don't procrastinate, guys. Go and buy the documentary. It's $10.99 and it's yours forever. Wherever you pull up, wherever you go. If you want to watch it with friends and family, you are more than you got it. So go ahead. But yeah, that's my question. How did white people get here? Let's put aside, somebody said, Don, let's pull up the evidence of the slave ships. Okay, we'll just say I don't have it. Pull up the evidence because again, the argument is where the ship's at. There's no slave ship. I ain't never seen a slave ship where they at. Okay, you got it. Then where's all these ships that brought white people? Yeah, where the white folk boats at? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room, and I just, if somebody who white people walked here, okay. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. And call and let me know. Yeah, call in, man. And that's the thing I'm saying. I guess white people are indigenous to America too. Again, I guess white people are indigenous to America too. Go ahead, Skywalker. Skywalker, unmute yourself.
Okay, yo, Diners, I gotta say this. Okay, so the people who make this argument about
Skywalker, you know what I'm about to ask too.
I'm going through hard times right now, Diners. Give me a chance.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we good. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right, now look. Now, yeah, so they gotta the people who come with this, slavery never happened or whatever. I mean, they gotta reconcile a few things. First of all, I think you make a great point. Okay, then what are ships for that brought the white people over here? And if slavery never happened, then how are black people somehow in the situation they're in right now? Right? How are their jails filled with black people right now today? Right? How is it that we got black people right now every day in court still answering the white judges? What happened in our history that got us in a position right now? How is it if slavery never happened? How is it that the education that black people learn is still centered on white people? So you know all about the Magna Carta, yada yada yada, but you know nothing about the Haitian Constitution or the Liberian Constitution and nothing like that. You know how to say Schwarzenegger, but you don't know how to say Owusu. You know, so I mean, how did all this happen, right? If slavery never happened, how did black people even get in the position that they are in today? Significant events had to occur in order for us to be at the mercy or pretty much at the will of white people right now, right? So, like I say, those arguments are just bull crap. It really all these different type of pseudo narratives, really all they are designed to do is to interrupt the dialogue, to interrupt the dialectic, to to make us pause and treat their ridiculous arguments instead of continuing the dialogue, because the dialogue is real important. The conversation is real important. And it's really important for onlookers to listen to the conversation and hear the conversation, the great Pan-African conversation. And when it's interrupted with all these different pseudo narratives and like all this delineating rhetoric and divisive rhetoric, it serves no purpose. That's another reason that is just there to interrupt the dialogue, right? And yeah, so I just pause right there.
Hey, Skywalker, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm very, very just passive aggressive, especially with something I'm passionate about. I did not mean to embarrass you in any type of way. You didn't have to share that. Just a simple email. Hey, Diners, listen, man, this is what's going on. Okay, no problem. Because that's nobody's business, if you know what I mean.
No, for sure, Dinas. No big deal, bro.
Okay,
Come on.
yeah. Because I just that's no one's business. But
No,
like I said, it's my documentary. I'm passionate about it. I want everybody to get it. I could be a little aggressive. That's just the sales guy in me. I can't help it.
for
But
sure.
still, this is I mean in no type of way want to embarrass anybody. Just hey, Diners, I'm gonna shoot you an email or just shoot me an email, let me know, and I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll leave it alone.
Nah,
Uh,
yeah,
go
for
go
sure,
go ahead.
Dinas.
So I apologize. Go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, greetings, brother Dennis, brother Skywalker. I hope everything well with you, sir. I mean, look, the transatlantic slavery is real. I live in a city where there's signs of it everywhere. It's well documented. People with Sierra Leone, for example, Freetown. Come on, you know, they were black people who left here, to West Africa. Free slaves. It's there. I mean, I'll give you a list. Within West Africa alone, the Bight of the Benin, historically named obviously the Slave Coast. Um, the Slave Coast actually accounted for more than 2 million captive slaves. Okay, 2 million. Um, that's including the Oyo. The Biafra Bight of the Biafra, 1.6 million captive. The Gold Coast, which is Ghana, 1.2 million. Senegambian region, that's Senegal and Gambia, 480,000. Sierra Leone, my country, 390,000. The Windward Coast captive, that's Ivory Coast, 340,000. And when it comes to the boats, I mean, if you come to my city, you see SS Great Britain. You see a lot of reserve historical evidence of the transatlantic slavery. Black people, we are not the only people that were slaves during those days. Even the Irish were slaves. Let's just not be so embarrassed of our history. Let's be proud of who we are. We are more great people than hit slavery. Slavery is not the entire history of Black people. Slavery was the end of the history of our separation. You know, that's one. Of course, I know people want to create their identity by differentiating themselves from other groups. I understand that. I'm up for that. I think African Americans, I repeat, should have their own identity. They're not Africans because they've been in that place for over 400 years. They are not. They shouldn't be counted in the census as Black Africans. They are Black African descent, but if you know what I mean, they are actually people of that continent and also people of the African continent. I pass the mic for now. Thank you.
All right, Ivory Dreams, go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Ivy, don't be call, don't be here calling on your Obama phone either. Your
Oh,
phone be
can you hear
chopping,
me?
line be chopping. No, we hear you just fine. But I'm just saying,
Okay,
we
well, it's a
want to
lot of
we
mountains. It's mountains where I'm at, so sometimes it's hit and miss. But
okay. I forgot, Ivy. You in that in the Boulay. You up in the hills of the Boulay. So I forgot
oh
Boulay.
no.
But go
But
ahead. I'm
but I'm
sorry.
just saying it's very offensive. My third great grandfather, George Davenport, he fought in the Civil War. America had meticulous records going back to the American Revolution. And I'm very proud that my third great grandfather, he fought in the colored troops, in the Civil War, fought for his people freedom. And for these people to say it's just such a disrespect of our ancestors, it just makes me sick. I feel that this subject matter is really beneath you, but people are saying this foolishness, and just shame on them. My family, they were also registered in the Freedmen Bureau, and I also have records of my family members when they registered to vote through the Freedmen's Bureau. I am an American descendant of slave. I am of African, European, and indigenous descent. I am a Black American. And this is just ridiculous, but I appreciate that you expose this foolishness. Thank you.
Also, Dinus, I want to add that the people who say this thing about the boats. I mean, where do they think the technology of modern boats evolved from? Right. I mean, we got aircraft carriers now that can hold up to like 10,000, probably even more than that, troops, along with landing planes on top of it and stuff like that. All of that stuff evolved from the type of boats that brought our ancestors over here, right? So, I mean, we people like that, man, we can't even give them any type of attention. We just need to continue our own dialogue, you know what I mean, and continue talking about the truth. Because it's just so many things in history that would have had to have happened for us to be in a situation that we are in. And slavery, obviously, is the main one, right? You know what I mean? If slavery never happened, then why is Africa the way it is right now? Right? You know what I mean? Why are all these Arabs in North Africa?
Can I
Why?
can I add can I add one
Okay.
more thing?
Go ahead.
I just want to add, we always forget, and I'm happy this young man mentioned Arabs. There was a slave trade prior to Europeans even coming to Africa, and it was the Arab slave trade. I am so tired. I asked a young man at the job, do you understand that we were also sold to the Arabs? This is a young man around 24. He didn't even know that there was an Arab trade slave. I mean, slavery. And our people were selling us to Arabs. So it's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
lack of education. It's a lack of education that is embarrassing. And Dinah, you know that I am a reparationist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not waiting for reparations. You know that. You know, I'm not waiting, but I do believe in it. And when they say where are the slave ships, we are only indigenous. They look like Wesley Snipes and they're stating that they don't have one drop of African blood. I mean, I know black people in the South, they look more African than Africans. They're
Yeah.
blacker than the ace of spade. They look like Shango himself. Some of these people you look at, I swear to God, I'm looking at Shango. I'm looking at a leg, but I'm looking at this is the way they look. They have a Batala head, but yet they say that they don't have not one drop of. I mean, come on, their head is woolly. I mean,
Can we
my
talk?
God, I don't understand it. It's really embarrassing. I'm sorry, Dinus. It's just so
No,
embarrassing.
go ahead. No problem.
No, no,
Thank
no,
you.
no, no, you're right on point. You know what I'm saying? The Arab slave trade lasted for 13 centuries. Matter of fact, Ibrahim Traore just mentioned it at this, like it's this viral speech that he just gave. And he talked about the horrors of the Arab slave trade. He mentioned the castrations that unfolded as a result of the Arab slave trade. One thing that he left out is that the significant drop in the African population as a result of this massive castration campaign of Africans. I mean, being the first people on the planet, you would think that we would be the most populated, right? But as a result of being 13 centuries of massive tragedy and castration and rape and all type of stuff that unfolded as a result of the Arab slave trade. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about 400 years flies in the face of 1300 years, right? So
Mm.
like, man, like we really need to, and even today, the Arabs are still trying to conquest, partake in a conquest of Africa. They're moving from the north on down into the west, using terrorism
They
and
they
an
took it.
extreme
They've
form.
already taken it. They,
Yeah,
they they took it. It's very embarrassing. The way they took the
and-
north and the east is very
yeah, yeah, yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly, right. And now they're trying to take the West, right?
Yeah,
Using
and they will take it. They're going to
uh,
take it.
using extreme forms of Islam to do this,
Hmm.
So like I say, Arabs, in my opinion, are really the most immediate threat to black folk than
Correct.
than white people. And when I think about it, white people might be more the white establishment might be a more immediate threat to African Americans, maybe to those in the diaspora. But for those on the continent, white people ain't even necessarily their problem. Their most immediate problem are the Arabs, right? In my opinion, right? And it's always been the most immediate problem.
Well, the
Um,
Arabs, they will kill all the men and keep and breed the women. And
exactly,
in the
exactly.
transatlantic slave trade, the white man valued the buck. He
Yeah,
valued the strong black man, and he wanted to
mhm.
breed plenty of black men to work and to build. I had to tell a coworker there would be no America, period, North America, Central or South America, if it wasn't for the transatlantic slave trade. You know, this is just a fact. It
Yeah.
would be no America. The Americas was built off of the transatlantic slave trade, and shame on any black person that's is asking where are the ships when the Mayflower is gone, and all of those old wooden ships. And a slave ship was just a regular ship that they put some Africans in the bow of. It was nothing special, it was just a regular ship that they chained some people and traffic them, and that's it. This is a bad look. It's a bad look internationally. It's a bad look for reparations. It's a bad look just for our history and dignity. One of my degrees is in African American studies, and we have such wonderful accomplishments. And shame on these people who say they're only indigenous, but they look more African than an African.
And Dinus,
Shame on them.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
want I always want to talk about the root to the problem, because right now we're talking about an effect, right? That the fools out here claiming that slavery didn't happen or that they're Indians, that is an effect. It's not a cause, right? And so we need to kind of focus on the causes more, so that we can kind of bring light to what's really unfolding here. And like I say, the cause is going to always harken back to the schools, right? To what our children are learning in these schools. And because they are learning absolutely nothing, we have we have bred a group of people who are so foolish of their own history that they are inventing their own types of history, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess there a possibility to, yeah, this could be a COINTELPRO program, yada yada yada. You know what
That's
I'm
what I
saying?
think it is.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
what
Yeah,
else can it be?
yeah, yeah,
What else can it be to cause confusion so
Mm.
people are not connecting?
exactly,
Because
Yeah.
I
exactly.
am a black
Yeah.
America, but I can just look at the way the women are shaped in my family. Now, let me explain something to you. I'm dark skinned in my family, but everybody in my family was always shaped like a brick house. Now we know that's from Africa. When you look at indigenous women, they're not shaped with hips and round behind. They're not shaped small waist. They're not shaped like that. That is a West African shape. That's not even an Ethiopian shape. That is a West African shape.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
sorry. I understand genetics.
And even the way we treat the language, the way that we treat the language as well is African, right?
Yeah.
The way that we
One
treat
thing.
English is African. Everything that we do with
Yeah.
the way that we pronounce the AN sound in the South, we say Maine instead of man.
Yeah.
And they come from West Africa, right?
Now it depends on your socioeconomic level. I don't know
Well,
all about
yeah,
that,
but see
man.
that, but
I
that's
don't
to
know
my
all
point,
about
right?
that, sir. I
Well,
don't
no,
know about
but
One
that.
listen,
thing.
but see, that's to my
One thing the
point. Like
sister
matter of fact.
said,
Mhm.
As a
if I
matter of
may.
fact, you can kind of hear the more African aspect of some of us trying to treat the English language or whatever language we speak in an African way. You hear it actually more in people who are less educated, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they're using it based off they're using it based off the way that their mind thinks that it ought to operate. You know what I'm saying? That language ought to operate. So it really has absolutely nothing to do with education. Actually, the more educated you get, especially in a Eurocentric world, the more removed from speaking like an African you become. The more you start to talk like a white person. The more you start to change your accent.
The
Hey, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Skywalker.
Like,
Do you know what I noticed?
I
Do you know
believe
what I
that.
noticed also, guys? Do you
I
know
don't
what I
believe
noticed?
in that.
And
Most
then
of
I
the
got
people that look more
Africa 45 seconds. I got to pass the mic to him.
okay. Yeah, most of the people I know is that deny, African, ness is people that look very Africans. That's what I noticed. Like the dark skin, the one that got the actual West African phenotype. They're the one that deny to be West African always. But very quick on we pass the mic. Yes, she's right about the trans-Sahara slavery. That's not been talked about a lot. We know the empires who are responsible. The Ghana Empire was one 8th to 13th century. Mali Empire 13th to 15th century. Songhai Empire 15th to 16th century. The Kanem Borno Empire was also the one around Lake Chad region to Sudan. These are all West African empires who are involved in selling other black people, to the Arabs. So it was black people selling black people instead of being captive. This were the different aspect. But the slave trade was both slow. They were coming from the Arab world to Africa. They was leaving Africa to the Arab. So you're right. That also should be talked about. I pass the mic. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, go ahead, M.
All right, thank you, sir. Going off with the title, "Where Are the Slave Ships?" It says something about the white people that came through the Mayflower. Where are they slave ships? I think they have the Mayflower, but when you look at those ships that King James sent, the indentured servants or the criminals from England or the United Kingdom, because King James created the United Kingdom. Unis Rex, Unis Plex, Unis Lex. They wasn't on the bows of the ships. When you talk about the cargo slave ships, you will have to chain people at the bottom of ships, and you got to actually have enough oranges so they won't get scurvy, and you have to have enough fresh water for they won't starve or die of dehydration. So many scientists say it's mathematically impossible for people to be transported on the bottom of a ship on a three to 6 month journey without enough fresh water or enough vitamin C. So as far as like when I heard a couple of these people talking, pinpointing or reaching for hypotheticals, saying that because your body is shaped like a brick house, you must be West African, or because it is, you must be African. That means you don't have absolute evidence. You can't just say this is certain that I'm from Africa.
Sir, I
You
got
can
my
look at any.
DNA done. I have scientific proof. I went to a
that's
doctor.
what
I got my DNA done. I'm African, I'm European, and I'm
I mean.
indigenous Native American. That's what I
I mean,
am. I went to a
I mean,
damn doctor. That's
you just
scientific.
said, hold on, you just said that the so-called Native Americans like that. Now you say you Native American. So which is it?
I said I am triracial. I am
Okay,
African, I am European, and
it's like
I
it
am
sounds like
indigenous Native
it's
American.
like
That's what I
it sounds
am.
like it's is grasping for straws. Like you
No,
got a
no, because
human,
my culture is Louisiana Creole and Gullah Geechee, and we know our
you
history. We
have
know our culture.
we
I'm
have
triracial. Thank you.
we have affinity and a fantasy for Africa, but Africa doesn't have an affinity for us. They don't really have the same desire to claim the Black American people. Not even the people that sold the slaves. Like they don't. Even, I see Ghana is trying to do it because they see a economic benefit from it. But before that economic benefit, or before Black Americans in Ghana started to advocate for the year of return, the Ghanaians would have never been on that talking about some come back and look at the slave islands or the slave dungeons. What I'm saying is the human genome is very diverse. You got white Europeans like Nicolas Cage and Albert Einstein that has the same DNA as an Igbo, and they look totally different from each other. You see what I'm saying? So you don't. We really can't identify what's going on Earth. We can just have hypotheticals and just use the. We're gonna estimate to the nearest tenth and just say I'm this. Well, and then when we say, okay, instead of us being this, we're that, meaning we're from America, and we just happen to be black too, and our connection might have went back to Pangea or before Columbus. That's totally attacked at full force. Like, who's to say we wasn't here as black people before Columbus or before the transatlantic slave trade, and some people might have been added to the mix later on, but the vast majority of us probably was already here as black people, not Mongolian so-called Native Americans, but the so-called black phenotype or genotype that you call African, which didn't exist prior to Julius Caesar conquest of what do you call them people? The Numidians, the people that
Nubians, yeah.
betrayed the people that betrayed Carthage for the Roman Empire. Then they betrayed the
Man,
Roman Empire,
shut
and
your
then
slow
and then
ass
and
up,
then
bro.
hey,
Well, no, wait a
shut up.
minute now. We shouldn't be.
So
No, we
so
should
so
not be
so
attacking
Julius
Golly,
Caesar.
bro.
people.
Listen,
No,
how
no,
they
no,
Don't
painted?
do
no. Hold
that.
on,
Don't do
guy,
Hey,
that.
hold on.
hey,
Don't
So
do
Dinus,
that.
Dinus, if you hear me, if you hear me saying something stupid, stop me, please.
Hold on.
Let's not be mean.
Simply, you said the N word.
Yeah,
No,
was
no,
it
I
the
did not.
Negroes?
No, he did
I
not
said
use it. No,
Negro.
no, I
You
did
said
not hear
Negro.
that.
Okay,
Negro.
okay. Well,
He just
Hey,
said Negro.
Daddy, if you need $10, bro, I give it to you, bro. I
nah, but
just
I'm
give it
saying,
to you.
the
No, I'm just messing with you. What I'm saying
Nah,
is, as much as I hate to be
let me finish what I
interrupted,
was saying though.
you
Let me
can
Uncle.
finish what I was
stop
saying
me at any
I
time
was
if I
rudely
sound
interrupted.
okay,
crazy
you
like
I
got
was
that.
rudely
let him
interrupted
hold
by
on.
the
Let him
Zephlo the
finish.
Pookie. The
M,
Zephlo
you
the
got
Pookie
40.
Rookie.
You got 45 seconds. I'll pass the
Okay,
mic to Tito.
okay.
Go ahead.
Prior to Julius Caesar creating Africa Novo, Africa Vitru, old Africa, new Africa, nobody was called African. So 2,000 years ago, that
Go ahead, Africa.
Oh
genotype
my
What?
God.
was
Hold on.
it
M,
was it was
create.
old
Hold on. M, run that
Africa
back.
Nova.
M, hold
before
on.
before before Julius Caesar created Africa Nova and Africa V2, which is old Africa.
Hey.
It was nobody was called no African. So whatever the genotype was called back then, I think that's what we are in America. The Africans now, because of colonialism and the Afrikaans, they are so ingrained with European ideology. They are obsessed with African, the word African, but they can't go
Wow.
beyond 2,000 years. You know, they stuck in some time warp, and they can't get over slavery for some reason. But that's about it, though.
All right, go ahead,
Please.
CD. Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
CD.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey.
Yeah. Hi, everybody, man. So this guy, he
Hi,
want a
hi.
free land. We don't have free land in Africa to give it to anybody. So you work hard, you go invest. That's all we want from you. We don't give any free stuff over there.
Then y'all
But
steal Liberia
but
free.
no, but Dennis, yeah. So my experience with other Africans, especially East African, um, North African. So when I was a kid, at the age of 15, we had Arabic teacher from Egypt and Sudan. right, at the age of 14 to 15. So they used to come to the Arabic school and teach us Quranic study and Arabic study, right? But I knew there was a black Sudanese guy that came. He was very tall and dark skinned. He wasn't look like any other Liberians at that time, right? He was not looking like a West African at all. But they used to tell that he's from Africa, he's from East Africa. And then we had Egyptian teachers. They were light skinned, but they said, well, they're from the northern part of Africa, right? So, but they were looking completely different. But then when I came to the state and I started seeing the black people here, it was no different from West African, right? I would see some light skinned brother, I would think that maybe they are Fulani, right? And I would see some of them really dark skinned and tall. I would think probably the Madingo. So I could see that similarity, right, between the West African and the African Americans, right? But I did not visit any part of the continent beside West Africa until when I came here, right? But then when I went to Kenya and I started seeing the Kenyans, right, they look completely different, right? With big forehead. Even the men, they are completely different. The way they are structured. There's no similarity between they and the West African. So when people say, well, African Americans are their origins from West Africa, I definitely believe that. Because even when I was in Kenya, I could see other West African and I would identify them, whether they are Ghanaian or Nigerian or African Americans. I will somehow see them as some sort of similarity, right? So even if you go among the French West African, what they call Black American, they call them cuisine. It's not about war, mon cousin. It's almost like my cousin. That's a common language among all West African. Yeah, French West African. They call Black American mon cousin, which means my cousin, right? So when people say, well, they have no connection with Africa, yeah, everybody is not going to accept that fact. But people with reasoning, people that that support their idea with fact, with some sort of scientific reasoning, they will reason with you. But people that not educated, that is very difficult for you to explain to them that this is your place of origin. They're not going to accept it. So you cannot force someone to identify themselves with a group, and when they think they are not part of that group, right? But we all know, as a reasonable person, that Black Americans have some sort of connection with West Africa. Even when
See, this the
you
only
meet them,
time
when
I
you
ever
see them,
It's
you
the only
know.
time he ever had some real
So
logic.
that's how I think. But again, it's not that Africans are forcing Black Americans to to be part of West Africa. Nobody is doing that. But we just looking at the scientific fact that what the sister was saying, she did her DNA or test and realized well her origin is some part of her origin is African. So and not everybody will have that resources to go through that process. And not everybody will accept that fact. And they'll just leave it that way. So it sounds like someone explain in a way that they think Africans want to force them to be West African, which of course it makes no sense. Nobody is doing that, but people are looking at fact, right? So even there's for example, the Congo people that are in Liberia, there were no difference between the Congo people and the other Liberians, right? They have some light skin and they have some of them were dark skin, right? So that's why they were able to control the system in Liberia. And even most of them too, most of the native Liberians were claiming to be a Congo, which of course they were not Congo people. They were not African American, but for the fact that they were in that class system, they were in that level, people tried to change their name to be African Americans at that time in Liberia because they were in power and they were more educated than the other native Liberians, more educated than the other rest of the 16 tribe. So And people used to abuse the system. Other country people in Liberia used to abuse the system to identify themselves as a Congo people, which of course they are
Hey,
not.
CD 30 seconds.
You
Got to pass
know,
the mic.
so this is, I think, we should just reason with people, individual reasoning, and think, if you think that you're from Africa, okay, you're from Africa. If you think you are not from there, yeah, okay, you're not. So yeah, I think that's how we should handle it. But
All right,
I'm fine.
let me read these super chats. JC Inc. Thank you for $1.99 holla. Whites must have been in America also, like the FBA. Summer none other baddie. Thank you for $2 holla. Logistics of slavery is something never discussed. All right, go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Diners. Hello to you in the panel and the chat. Look, I got to agree with the people that said they're indigenous to this land, right? They're and the white people, they're both indigenous to this land. I mean, I'm saying that because one of the brothers came and made up that word, so I'm going to use his word. But my point here is, I'll quote the Boondocks. It's a bit corny, but I'll quote the Boondocks. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence, right? So the fact that one thing doesn't prove doesn't mean that there are now other proof that you can go to and show that something actually happened. So if you don't see the boats, you have the history. You have black folks who wrote about being enslaved. You even had slaves who gave testimonies on recordings about how they were enslaved in this country and that they came from Africa. You have, logs of people, who were slave traders who logged their journeys and wrote, memoirs about what they was doing during the slave trade. So you had one of the things that happened with the ships is that at a certain point it became contrabands, because when slavery was outlawed in places like Britain and the United States, people were shooting cannons at those ships on the coast of West Africa and other places. So a lot of those ships got destroyed. Ships are not meant to last, for eternity. They're wood, wooden structure that tend to deteriorate over time. A lot of them been destroyed. A lot of them, was sunk on the ocean or whatever. So the fact that you can't prove that the ships existed, just by not seeing the physical evidence, you move a step further. You will see the history of the people, people who wrote about it. People didn't write about it out of fiction. Somebody in the 1700s wasn't writing a whole book or log because they were trying to fool you, 200, 300 years later. It actually happened. So leave the books, go to the written history, even go to recorded history in the Library of Congress, go to Britain. You'll find a lot of things there that tells you that there was slavery going on. There were abolitionists who existed, who wrote against, enslavement of black people and why they fought against it, the horrors that they saw. So all of those things exist. So if you can't find one evidence, doesn't disprove the entire case. So that point should be simple to make. And lastly, I'll say this, right? Like the sister was saying, if I look, you see my big old head and my big old nose, somebody said once that I look like a cousin of theirs. And I'm an African, right? I'm a Liberian. I'm an African. So you can look at a West African and see that we're related. And to the show you had yesterday, Diners, I can tell you this. It is a fact that some African Americans look slightly different than a regular African. For example, if you have 10% European, some of your traits that you get from that European, ancestor is probably, recessive. It may show up 4 or 5 generations later. So maybe you might have a big curlier hair. You may have a dark skin, but maybe you can grow a really long beard. Most West Africans can't grow that long of a beard. So people even started saying that the Hebrew Israelites started using that as a sign that they're so different because they can grow long, thick, full beards, and most West Africans can't. And the reason that is because most of them have European DNA, so their hairs are probably a less coarse, than a black African person hairs, and they can grow at a longer length and probably fuller. So all of those things make a point that you can look different than me, be a little light-skinned, your nose could be a little more narrow because you have certain DNA that I don't have that makes you look different than I do. But it still proves when you look at most black women, their body shape, like the sister was saying, the way they're built, they come particularly from West Africa. The East Africans look different. Their forehead, their body shape is different than the West African person. So the evidence is there. If you just want to be stupid and act as if there's no correlation between the two groups, you're being ignorant. But thank you, Diners. I'll pass the mic to the next person.
All right, go ahead. That's smart.
It's Olosho Blesser. I bless Oloshos on the regular. Now, first things first, man, salute to your platform. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully people watch the documentary. I got it when it first came out a long time ago. It was good. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully people just not telling you they did it and they actually purchase it, man. Cause that just, it just would show what I say. I would love for black people to make me wrong when they say that they keep their word and they just don't say things just to be saying, especially to each other. You get what I'm saying? Now we get back to some black people, man. We have this thing. I think the worst thing for us is that we don't really know where we came from. We have an idea, you know what I'm saying? But with DNA, but still with DNA, it just give you a region, it just give you a territory. So that's the thing that we're not concerned, that concerns us a lot. A lot of black people don't say that, but I know that for a fact. You get what I'm saying? That's an issue. But when they turn around and say that Africans don't reach out, which is true, because especially a lot of people in West Africa, they just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like if the government is not reaching out, the people can't reach out because the people barely got shit they damn self. The average salary in Nigeria is 60 to 70,000 naira a month. A month. This is the average for you talking about 220 million people. And that's average. 70,000. And 70,000 is the equivalent of $60. $60 a month. So the thing about it, the luxury that we have in America is that we make enough money that we can sit up here online and talk about shit like this. They don't have these conversations. You get what I'm saying? They don't have these conversations about reaching out or whatever because they're catching a keke to work. They catching a bike to work. You get what I'm saying? They're working 8 to 12 hours in places and they have to wait till the end of the month to get a paycheck. They have to buy data for their phones. You get what I'm saying? So, we have this luxury in America to complain about everything. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say we're professional complainers, only because we have the money. You don't see broke people in America online talking about this shit. You don't see people that's struggling working at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, or working part-time talking about this stuff that we talking about. These are only people that in the range of, I'll say 30, but 30 is low, but 30 to 52,000, 55,000 or above people that sit online and have all these theories. And I'll tell you this one thing. If anybody starts an argument or starts a thesis and start out with who's to say, you should slap the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? And find everybody in their family and wipe them all out. Because when you start a stint of who's to say, that's just like putting the word if in front of everything you say. If this, if that. Now, we want to talk about where the slave ship come from. It'll be shocking that you could talk to those people that was on the slave, on the slave with the people that was recorded, like Elvis said, that made these recordings, and you ask them, well, where the slave ships you came here on? They would be mind boggled. You get what I'm saying? Because that wasn't their concern. The people that owned the slave plantation back then were just all about surviving. And I'm not giving the Africans a pass like back then who was selling people for a bag of rice and a mirror, you know what I'm saying, and a couple of umbrellas. I'm talking about the people of the day that just working to survive. And you're not worrying about all this internet stuff, all this FBA, you know what I'm saying, all this tether shit, all these Akata words and booty scratcher, what CD like to say. They're not concerned about that when they're only making 70, 80,000 naira a month. And I'll say it again, that's between $58 and $65 a month. So this is a luxury we have online, and Diners give us the platform to talk about it. So if you're not willing to invest and go over there and try to run it down yourself, don't expect them to do it, because that's not promoted over there. You get what I'm saying? So the people in the government, they're not even doing right by the people. They're not even making sure that they got, sewage or a water pressure for the water to come out, or trash to be picked up, or development and roads everywhere in normal people position. So why would you think the people would want to go? But if gonna want to set up to the point that people want to come out and see a slave museum, which is, I think, the craziest thing in the world. You get what I'm saying? But if that's what black people want to do with their money, to feel like they get they want to go over there and see the slave dungeon and start hunching on the wall, trying to get a spiritual connection to their parents and to their forefathers, and start shaking and falling down in the corner, crying, lighting candles, talking about the ancestors. If you want to pay $3,000 to do that, go do it. I've seen black people waste money on way less stuff that makes sense than that. You get what I'm saying? But the point that I'm making is, we have the money to get involved with that stuff like that. If you struggling, or you take dudes in prison. I was in prison for a long time, and I'm telling you, none of these conversations come about. These are middle class, middle class, upper class conversations. And I pass the mic.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, it is 100% fact. The reality is that we're beautiful people. We come from greatness, and it's about time people start realizing that, and value themselves. The value of who you are is not based on what people make of you. It's how you make yourself, how you value yourself. If you sell yourself cheap in the world will buy you cheap. And this is what a lot of black people don't understand. I mean, as Uncle Tim was saying, in the UK, in my city, it's well documented. It's all over the place, about slavery. It's one of the most known place for slavery in the world. They document the Irish slaves, European slave trade that went on here. It was the Irish before the blacks. And then they obviously, years later, they go down to West Africa. They join the other people. And we know for a fact that, the Africans have been traveling to what you call continental Spain, for years before transatlantic slavery. So, and also we have boat festival in my city. We have a replica boat that was made not long ago. They actually did the same, and this goes back to the 14th century. So it's just ridiculous how people actually sound. Transatlantic slavery happened. Stop denying it, because things like that can happen again. And look at what's happening in Libya.
See,
The more
Africa.
you denying it, yeah.
See, for these people, it's not whether or not they know it's bullshit. These people are
Yeah.
just doing it, like I say, just to interrupt the truth, right? That's all it's for. To be a distraction from the truth. The truth is always under attack, right? Especially when you are people who've been enslaved. So the truth is going to always be under attack, and black people need to understand it, right? The clouding of the truth, the undermining of the truth is the very nature and the very specialty of the imperial powers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, like, man,
Do you think, Skywalker, do you think it's a bit weird one while Trump is actually getting rid of black history, and that a lot of this popping up at the same time? Do you think that's a bit weird coincidence?
You know what? Believe it or not, first of all, now I'm glad you mentioned this, right? You know what I mean? Because in America, we got something called the First Amendment, right? And the First Amendment gives us freedom of speech. And mind you, it's the First Amendment. It's not the Second Amendment. It's not the Third Amendment. It's not the Fourth Amendment. So it lets you know the First Amendment, that the freedom of speech is a high priority in our country, because the framers of the Constitution made the freedom of speech the first thing. So now check this out. So I don't know how much you understand the American legal system or whatever, but we got a federal system. So we got like a federal government. Then we got all these different states that got their own kind of sovereignty, as long as their sovereignty is consistent with the federal government and the Constitution, right? Now we got individual states that tried to make a law that's called the Prohibited Concepts Law, right? the prohibited concepts law. And what this law pretty much says is that it's against the law for teachers to talk about certain concepts that make white people uncomfortable.
Wow.
But check this out though. Let me tell you how great the American Constitution is, though, right? You know what I mean? And really what it is the Tennessee government, because you got to remember that the practice of slavery was never the practice of the federal government, right? You know what I'm saying? The federal government never made no law that said you could practice slavery or nothing like that, right? Slavery, you know what I mean? So slavery fell up under something called the police powers, right? And the states have something called police powers. And so slavery was always a state practice, not a federal practice, right? And so that's why we got this, holiday called Juneteenth, because even after the African Americans were freed, the southern states were still trying to hold on to black people. Now going back to that, now let's go back to this prohibited concepts thing, right? The First Amendment, the law up under the First Amendment says that if a state or if a government body like the Congress of the state, right? So let's say the Minneapolis Congress or whatever, right? If they make a law that says, hey, look, and the law is content based. So if a law is content based, so and by content meaning is that the law is trying to control what you are talking about. You see what I'm saying? That means that it is on its face void and it has absolutely no effect at all, right? So you see what the state's doing right there? The states just put their law on the books because they know that people don't, everybody ain't no lawyer, right? They gonna go with the policy. Even the people who control the school board just gonna follow what the policy is and what they say the law is because ain't nobody challenged the law. You see what I'm saying, right? But the law does not have to be followed, right? Because it is contrary to the First Amendment. You cannot make a content-based restriction on speech. You see what I'm saying? Not even in the school. And in the school, you can put some restriction on speech, but those restrictions got to be reasonable. You see what I'm saying? And that's not a reasonable restriction on speech because literally what it's telling the teacher to do is to lie. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
yes. That's why I'm glad we have a show like this because it's very important to point out, what is going on because there are a lot of things going on at the behind the closed doors, trying to divide our people and trying to get us into this mess. And the more we have platform like this, people don't appreciate it, but it's absolutely very important, to expose it out there for the people because we know there are a lot of intelligence that are going on out there. There's so many, things that go into different directions to divide us, and this is definitely one of them. And they invested a lot in terms of education. In the UK, there was a lot of pushback in terms of introducing, like teaching of transatlantic slavery to the kids because they don't want to feel guilty because they call it white guilt, right? Because the more the younger kids know about slavery, the more they feel bad, the more they will change their mindset. And the right was pushing back at these things. But then they had a clause where they have to include like sex education in there, also to actually push black people out of it because they know most black people are quite conservative in that form. Basically they don't like this LGBT and sex education, at the young age. So there are a lot of there are a lot of great
Africa, I
areas.
don't,
Yeah.
Africa, I'm not cutting you off. So I just don't want us to blame anybody for this. I believe what
No,
is
we're not.
going
We're
on
not.
is,
We're not. We're
yeah,
not blaming anybody.
I would say this because you have to look at the trend or the trending, right? 5 years ago, there were the same guys that were on social media talking about black women. I'm not saying what he was saying is wrong. How black women are single women making bunch of babies, and these are the babies that grew up in the ghetto, killing people, selling drugs, right? I remember also do Jack saying someone because the person shared a video with me yesterday. So I started studying the trend, how some of these guys become a grifter on social media. They were degrading their own community.
But this is the point we're making, though, CD,
Right.
that these people, some of
No,
our
let me
own
let me
people
ma- let me
can
make
be
my
used
point.
for this.
Let me
nah,
make
we
my
was
Yeah.
point. They were
we was talking
degrading their
about
community. Most of them were following a guy from. The guy even told me there was a guy in Atlanta that was had a lot of followers, and he was making a lot of money too. But there were a group of guys that were following him doing the same thing.
Oh my God.
talking about social aspect of African American degrading their own community, right? But now they're not making money in that anymore. So they have to look for something that will divide people more, that people will pay attention to them so they can start making money online. Right? It's
Okay.
the both ways.
Also,
Africans are
Africa,
doing
yeah,
it,
yeah,
African Americans
yeah,
are
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it. So
Africa.
people will
yeah.
always find something to come and divide people to make money on social media. That's why
Okay.
Yeah,
social
that's
media
that
is a
also.
deadly weapon right now, right?
Let,
It
let,
I
becomes so
also agree.
deadly that it dividing people so much that there's no way that you can control it. Because if
And
someone
them
is
are
sitting in a
there.
corner somewhere, lying to
Yeah,
people and making money out of people, right? I've
yeah.
heard people quoting them, talking about them all the
But
time. But all they
but
doing, they were
see
one time
the
Pan
lot.
African, and now they are now no
Yeah,
more
but
Pan
we know,
African. They have
CD,
to find a
we
place
know
where to
Elon
make
Musk.
living.
Sorry,
Did
CD.
oh,
But we know Elon Musk
oh,
who on Twitter. Sorry,
African.
we know Elon Musk who on Twitter. It's been manipulating these things for like last how many years since COVID, right? This is data that came out of the UK since COVID. A lot of kids been radicalized online. These are young kids. These kids are normally the most progressive, tend to be with people of color and blending. But these are one of the most radicalized group today. There are a lot of data out there. I'm not denying some of the stuff that you're saying. Some people are grifters, absolutely. But there are different elements into this mix here. Okay,
But that could be
so we
true.
need
Okay,
to
I'm
hold
not
like,
saying that's not a
on.
lie. But
Yo,
mm,
they both
how long?
benefiting from it somehow.
Let me respond. Let me respond.
Yes.
Okay, so Africa. Now let me go back to
yeah.
what you were saying about the you know what I'm saying, the school thing, right? Because that's a real
Oh yeah,
that's something that's real dear to me. And I think Africans and African Americans very because we talk about slavery so much. We talk about slavery so much. But we really need to be concerned with involuntary servitude. And let me ask you a question. If
yeah.
I shot somebody, right? Say I shot somebody, but that person didn't die, right? You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
and that person lived, and say I got away with it. Now, if I went back around that person with a gun, what is that going to look like? If I got caught
Mm.
back around him again with a gun, it's going to look like
Uh,
it's going to look like
yeah.
it's going to look like my intentions are to kill him again, right? You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask you a question, right? What does it look like? Okay, white people have enslaved black people, right? Enslaved and colonized black people, right? What does it look
Mm.
like if you free those people? You say you free those people. You would think if you done committed a crime against some people, like and enslaved them, you won't want to be associated with them again. The same way, if you done shot somebody and they lived and you got away with it, you wouldn't want to be
Right,
associated and get caught next to them with a gun, right? So
right, right.
okay, so white people enslaved black people, right? You know what I'm saying? Then they so-called freedom, right? What does it look like if the black people are so-called free, yet everything they learning is all about white people, and literally the environment that they're being taught in is a jail, right? It looks
Right.
like what does that look like, right?
Yeah.
It looks just like the person who went back around the person who we just shot with the gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It
Yeah.
looks
But
exactly it looks exactly like so. In other words, what I'm saying is that
Mm.
black people we don't need to necessarily be focused so much on enslavement when we get to talking about how colonization is affecting us now. We need to be focused more on the mental aspect of it because what it is
Yeah.
doing and the root of it is unfolded in the schools because you cannot say that you are free on a continent or in the diaspora if the people who enslaved you are still controlling your education. That's just like
That's
going
right.
around somebody who you just shot with the gun. You
yeah,
see what I'm saying?
That's right.
but I would say about that is
That's right.
you have to understand, right? If you don't travel in order, like for someone like Dennis, he know what ownership means because he has traveled around the world. He has seen example in Africa how people can have ownership of things, right? But when you live in America, even if you stay here for so long, you can be blindsided. You think you are on top of the world until when you go and see how some people have real ownership in certain part of Africa. Right? Most of these people have not seen ownership of black people. They haven't seen the reality yet. So they think they live in that world that well, we control ourselves, we own everything, which of course they don't. but they haven't gone in any part of the world to see how real ownership looks like. So no matter how you explain it to them, that you guys are not free, they're not going to see the reality. They're not going to know how ownership looks like. So they're living in a vacuum to feel that, well, we own everything. We have our freedom. You can say what you want to say. But black people don't own anything in America. And it's hard
I
to
mean,
convince someone that don't travel.
no, yeah, I agree. I mean, look, like the other day was talking about wealth in West Africa, right? I mean, if you look at the wealth, in fact, the hidden wealth in West Africa, there are a lot of wealth in West Africa. But the problem is we don't have a system where this wealth can actually flow through. Like, I would say a country like Guinea, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and so on, if they actually have a normal bank system, where this money that's hidden wealth can go into, and they can use that, the banks can use that to loan businesses and entrepreneurship. Trust me, it will be more better than what it is today. But I absolutely agree that yes, we do need to focus on, moving forward from this topic of slavery because it's not gonna get us nowhere. Trust me, you know, um, it's not gonna get us nowhere because we're gonna be, sitting there talking about blaming everybody else except ourselves. And then by the time you know it, time is gone. Everyone is gone past us. As well.
I don't think you can
We
put
can't.
stop to it right now because there are people that are making money off it. It's going to be hard. And it's going to
No,
continue like this until once people get fed up with what they say and they're not making any more money, they're going to jump on something else. That's how it is now.
no, that's
People
not
want to make
gonna
easy money.
happen. That's not
No,
gonna happen. The reason why
Mm,
black people like to talk about slavery because when you use victimhood, it's called victim
right.
ideology.
Hmm.
It allows you to do nothing because you get so it's
Nothing.
just like
Yeah.
dopamine in your brain, like when you're hungry or you have the urge. Like some people have the urge to fight, some people have the urge to build. You get what I'm saying? If your
Right.
urge
Right.
is to be a victim, that means that you're fulfilled when you talk about it. That's
Yeah.
why when you hear people talk about slavery, some especially women, they'll be crying and start shaking about it. You know what I'm saying? And their day is fulfilled. They don't took all the energy out of them. You get what I'm saying? So it allows black people to do nothing. When black people talk about what happened with the Black Wall Street, that give them the reason to say, well, you know what? That was 300,000 years ago. Even though we have more money, more opportunities, more security, able to buy guns and security to secure another Black Wall Street ourselves, we still ain't gonna do nothing, but we'll sit around and talk about what happened 50, 60, 80, 100 years ago when it wasn't a camera on every corner. It's damn near a camera on every corner in the United States now. If black people wanted to open up another Black Wall Street, they could. If black people wanted to open up some banks, they could. If black people wanted to open up grocery store, they could. You got to have the will to do it. But it's more easy to talk about family, the ancestors, slavery, all that fuck shit, and never do anything. And then
Yeah.
just say God got it, and then say God got the last word, God king. And believe me, the Africans have that same mentality. They just don't use it as victimhood. They just say the condition we in, if God will, it'll be better. But we're in America doing good, but we still don't want to do nothing and just play with the victim ideology, and that soothes the savage beast. And I pass the mic.
Hey, let me respond real quick if I
No,
could.
no, but he's not talking to you. I mean, you
Yeah, let me
just
let me
came in.
respond
So
real quick. Can y'all hear me? The
Can
guy
I?
who spoke
Yeah,
yeah,
to
go
yeah.
ahead.
ATL, he said something earlier as far as like defending Nigerians and West Africans, talking about they make 60,000 nairas a month, so therefore they can't really reach out. I'm looking like, okay, you have a very light your attack is very soft when it comes to talking about Africans. But you just say uh Black Wall Street as if it was nothing. It was what 30,000 years ago. Didn't they just slaughter hundreds of people and burn down a whole community? That's nothing to you. You see what I'm saying? You talk about Black Americans as if we're less than insects But I want to say this though, as far as what you said earlier about the Nigerians who make 30,000, 60,000 nairas a month, and that's equivalent to $60. I would say if Black Americans have 1,000 times more money than the West Africans, then that should be more reason for them to open up the countries to us and let us get this land and let us get to work. The guy just say if we wanted to build another, he said open another. We actually built Black Wall Street, and we built Liberia. He said we want to open another Black Wall Street. We could. You know, what's to stop the white devils from burning it down again? You know, what you gonna do about it? You gonna just sit back and be quiet about it? But I would say if Africans don't have the economic resources and they always looking towards Chinese and Europeans for development, why not look towards Black Americans to develop
All
without
right.
actually having this stipulation or this caveat when it comes to us? Oh, you must have this in play. You must have 500,000 in play. Why not just open the country and the land up to Black Americans and allow us to just go get to work? What's so hard about that?
All right. I have a question for you. So my question is,
Yeah,
that
you ain't wrong.
is always take people to Africa all the time. When have you make the attempt to say, well, I want to go and try to close that bridge to connect with African? Because you're not going to be sitting here. And the guy that you just said that he said Nigerians are making $80 per month, $70 per month. He been to Africa several times. So he been there. Dan has been there. So have you ever applied effort to say, well, I want to visit and try to
What I'm
connect with African? Because you're
what
not going
I'm
to be
saying
sitting
is,
here and they're not going to come and knock on your door to say, well,
hold on.
John also let's try to do something together. Dan is take people all over Africa. Be on his team
But
and make a visit.
if
Then
I
people
visit
will know what
Africa,
up.
all it's gonna do is help the African economy, and I'm gonna just be out of thousands of dollars.
All right,
I'm
but
not gonna
then
leave with
don't
any
talk
type of
about it.
power. I'm not gonna have any land. I'm not gonna have any political power. Nothing. It's just gonna be me looking at some stuff and me getting up out of there. So what's the point of that?
They don't have a free
They're not.
land
They're not
over there, bro.
offering. They're not offering development opportunities. They're not offering us anything. Like they just want us to come in, dump the money, drop the
Oh,
money, and get up out of there.
we talk about development opportunity you want.
I mean, as far as with the De Beers popping up 1,000 carat diamonds every other day, you got the
No, we
South
talk about
African
business
white
opportunity that you
Afrikaans
want.
got a gold mine and
What type of development opportunity do you specifically want?
Yeah.
as an architect and training, I would like a bunch of land and contracts to build some cities and to design some skyscrapers or do some.
So, what do you do? What are you doing to get that?
What do you mean? What I'm doing to get in Africa?
Oh Lord Jesus, man!
Where
You
is the
telling me
reason?
you asked me what type of opportunities I want in Africa. If I
Right.
was to go to Africa with my expertise, as far as being an architect or whatever, I would like land to develop and protection. I don't want a big fat chief to come in and tell me that's his land once I already built it up. And unjust enrichment like they did Liberia, you know, Papa Shango run up with a pick fork. It's ours after we done built everything up and eat up everybody's hearts and stuff like that. So we need some military.
Why did I start this Liberian stuff?
We need some
Why did
military.
I start it?
Just like Liberia.
Right,
So
Big Papa
so so
Shango run up with his belly and his face paint run up. It's mine.
so
After we
so
did all the work.
you're an architect,
CD.
right? So let me do this. What is your resource here? Where you gonna get the funding? Even if they give you land, where you gonna build on the land? Do
I'm
you
gonna get
have
the
a
funding from the country, just like when Ghana got a Italian company to build the dam. They used the debt of the country and gave it to the Europeans, and the dam didn't even work. See, sovereign debt is unlimited.
What proof of work or the experience do you have? Like, okay, show me what you've done so far.
I
Let
said
me
I'm
see
an
a
architect
portfolio.
and training. I'm still in school, but I'm saying you got black architects
Oh man,
that's
stop.
professionals. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
you ask me what type of opportunities I would want. I would want land to be that I could actually develop and build cities or improve infrastructure. And if that's not there, also I would like my own country. To be honest with you, I
So
would like my own sovereign land.
you talk about projects like building or infrastructure. That these are capital intensive or development that you're talking about. Where you going to get the resources from?
I'm gonna get it
Do
from
you
the
have
sovereign debt that y'all done already squandered. Like y'all done stole 600 billion from Nigeria alone. You done stole all of
If
the
you have a
sovereign
country in
debt.
West Africa, are African people allowed in your country?
Let me ask a question.
What
Let me
you
ask a
talking
question.
about?
What's
If you
wrong?
if you were to have a land, 1 second, if you have way to have a land in Africa and you build that land, would you allow Africans in there?
Of course, tourism is what's all about. I build like
Just tourists.
entertainment facilities and carnivals and stuff like that to have
Yeah.
the just like what Liberia did before the big
Okay.
belly chief ran up and
You need to hook
took
up with
everything.
diners. You need to hook up with diners. Diners go to Africa every time. You need to hook up with him.
Yo, look.
But I wanted to mention something else though. I wanted to mention something else
Yeah.
about
Wait,
some people on here got.
I gotta pass the mic in. We got
Oh,
other
sorry
people on
about that.
panel. Go ahead, Quincy. Go ahead, Quincy.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, yes, I did buy the movie. I did it Saturday night as soon as we hung up, man. Like I said I would.
I appreciate
So,
you, man. I appreciate.
yeah.
Have you watched it yet?
No. I did it like I said I would. I'm gonna get some time to sit down now.
Okay, I appreciate you, Quincy. Thank you, sir. Quincy, you there? All right. With that being said, guys, commercial break real quick. Everyone, make sure you go to documentary. Again, documentary.searchforhuru.com and make sure you buy the documentary, everyone. Again, go to documentary.searchforhuru.com and make sure you buy the documentary, everybody. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, I would greatly appreciate it. Well, Marie, what you talking about? Dang, give him some time. I mean, he bought the documentary. I'm just asking if he saw it already. That's all. God,
No,
Marie,
it's all good.
Marie, why you beating up on me, Marie? Marie, why are you beating up on me? I'm just asking if he saw it already.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking, Marie. God,
Dinus, can I say
Can you hear me?
something?
Hold on, can you hear me?
Let Quincy speak, and then I'll pass it back to you. It's Quincy. Go ahead, Quincy.
Yeah, it was just a quote and then a suggestion. I think it was the Kenyan. I think it was the Kenyan president, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of the missionaries came with the Bible and said, "Let us pray." They had the Bible, we had the land. We closed our eyes. By the time we got done with the prayer, they had the land and we had the Bible. All right. So when I hear my guy who was just speaking about, Black Americans got the money, Africa's got the land and all of that, it just kind of it reminds me of, I feel like both sides want something that they don't have, right? So Pan Africanists had this longing and of a connection to Africa. So, some repatriate, most still stay in the United States. But you do your Pan African thing over here with your rhetoric and your visiting and all of that stuff. And then on the other side, you have Africans who, not just coming to America, but they kind of bouncing around, UK, Switzerland, they're bouncing all around the world, for the opportunities and whatnot, for the for economic reasons or whatnot. So it does seem like I always say Black Americans don't value being Black American, and I understand why, and I also understand why we don't see America for the gold mine that other people, specifically Black immigrants, do. Right. That's that. Second thing, I think a lot of this conversation. Did you ever have I know you had O'Shea on, I think a couple weeks ago. It couldn't have been more than a month ago, but I think he was on a couple weeks ago when I popped in to listen.
Yeah.
Was that discussing when he was sitting down with his three other co-hosts, and he was speaking about I think South Africa or Uganda, but he was speaking at it from a standpoint of him being the immigrant to Uganda, and how if he as an immigrant to Uganda or South Africa isn't bringing anything of value to them, then that's where a lot of the conflict will kind of arise from, right? And did you ever watch the episode, or did y'all discuss that? The episode?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it in the chat.
We don't listen to that because he was once, talking about Black women, putting down Black women. Now he's saying something else. So he's just a grifter. So I don't
Well, look,
disagree with
everybody
that.
has some good information. Nobody's 100% right, so you just take what you can and leave the rest on the table. But I'm bringing that up because I think I said this Saturday. It's always speaking about what Black Americans should do, this, that, and the other in regards to African immigrants or Caribbean immigrants, but there's not enough talk or speak about, well, the way he broke it down as him as a Black American being an immigrant in Uganda. That I think the way, I know the way he broke it down was the way I really feel like people from other countries who come to America should like understand it, right? So if you coming over here and people are, it's more of like a one-way transaction. You're taking more than you're giving back. Like I said, conflict will arise. And giving back doesn't mean paying taxes, because I mean, let's be for real. You get your money, you invest into your families as you should. Your family's here, and you also what's the word? You send them money, remittances. You also send your remittances back to your family wherever you come from, which you should. That's your money, right? But that is not helping Black Americans. So I'm going to find that link because it was actually a real good conversation. I just really wish a lot of people would just listen to how O'Shea was speaking about his responsibilities as an immigrant to another group of people's country, and how he makes it a point to try to bring value. How he makes it a point to see it from their perspective, and not just try to look at it from a me I
But it
perspective, and
sounds
more
like you
more.
don't even know how the capitalist system works. The
Uh,
America that you're talking about, the America that had the
Capitalism is
you,
is very exploitive.
let me tell you, America
Well,
is
Capitalism
the
well,
is
well,
one
well,
actually
well,
that
very
CD, CD,
exploitive.
exploit
CD.
the
I got
people.
CD. It's Kusi's turn. I got other people on the panel, so we can't let
Yeah,
Kusi go first.
yeah. Sorry, but I finished up with this. He jumping over to capitalism. Capitalism is very exploitive. I wasn't talking about capitalism. In fact, I'm speaking about Pan Africanism. Right? We're supposed to be all Pan Africanists and respecting each other and exchanging with each other. Right? So if I'm bringing up, what we should do if we move to each other's countries and our responsibility to the people whose countries we move to, and your response is about capitalism. I mean, come on. Can the two? Let me know. I don't know it because I'm not really a Pan Africanist anymore. But can being a Pan Africanist and being a capitalist coexist as it stands right now? Because as it stands right now, what that ultimately means is you're siphoning resources from Black Americans, and you're using us and our culture to get resources. That's what it means in practice right now. Nobody can argue that. That's what it means right now in this country, and that's why once again I'm saying it one more time. It was a great episode, the way that O'Shea broke it down and where he approached it, because he approached it more of a, hey, I'm moving to you all's country, to you all's economy. What can I bring of value to you all to ensure that you all don't view me as, I'm not going to say either competition or view me as a person that's just here to take. I'm not just here to take. I'm here to give back and enhance your economy and your people, because that's what's supposed. That is what Pan Africanism is supposed to be, not capitalism, brother. If we want to do that, I'd just rather deal with the white folks that I've been dealing with for 400 years, not you. And I land.
Can I respond, Donis?
No, I got to pass the mic to
Okay.
Hello. Go ahead, Hello. Well, let me read the super chat first. Sell me none other baddie. Thank you for $2 holla. Please allow people to pay to mute or keep speakers off. Okay. Go ahead, Hello. 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 All right. Hello. We can't hear you. Drop off and come back in. Go ahead, Ivy, then CD, because Ivy, you wanted to ask something.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the reason I'm asking,
I said go ahead, Ivy, then CD. Go ahead, Ivy.
Okay. Hi. Can you hear me, Dinus?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say that I feel like Black Americans should remember their ancestors. They should remember our history. We have a wonderful history. We have a wonderful culture. My family, just like I said before, my third great grandfather fought in the Civil War. After that, he purchased property and land. My family started getting their education. I have 5 generations of Divine Nine, Jack and Jill, and everything else in my family. We started getting our education in the early 1900s in HBCUs, Tuskegee and Wiley in Texas. And so we have a very, very prestigious and beautiful culture and history. I think that we should never forget our ancestors. That's why I think we have so many issues here. Um, I'm very happy that my ancestors bought land, owned property, and left it to us. That's very, very important. I personally feel that I saw a cousin so focused on Africa since I was 5 years old, being a Pan African, lose my uncle legacy that was built here in this country. Focusing on a pipe dream, always going to Africa, never staying there. And he should have been focusing on building the legacy that my uncle left that was tangible, real land, a real business, and real property. So I feel like Black Americans really need to focus on getting ourselves together before we try to help people. And that's just what I personally feel. We have to focus on building up our own communities and getting back our wealth here before we can help the world. Thank you, Dinus.
All right, go ahead, CD.
Yeah, so the reason I mentioned capitalism is because America is the one that doing the brain drain. They want all the smartest people in the world to come here. And when they come here, they pay taxes, they contribute to the economy in America. So they introduce a visa system. This is the reason why you see a lot of Africans. And that started in the 90s, right? It was Bill Clinton that started it. He said they want educated Africans to start coming to America. So they started playing a lottery system. That's why you see maybe 2 million Africans here out of 2 billion, almost 2 billion population in Africa. So when you talk, you make it sound like all the Africans are here. No, Bill Clinton was the one that came with a lottery system that people should start playing lottery, and they want the educated people to come here. That's why you see a lot of Africans here. So the example that he gave me with O'Shea, what he's doing over there, he's just exploiting poor people over there. So he's not doing anything, building the economy over there, being infrastructure of Uganda, opening factory. No, he just like ordinary YouTuber,
No,
right?
he
So
employs people. CD, he employs people. So I would definitely say he's not exploiting people.
what
He's
what
employing people. He's
Dennis?
doing a lot.
Okay, let us agree. Okay, he's doing a lot. Could you imagine if you what Osha is doing in Africa right now, sitting in a club with employee abusing them,
Yeah, well,
making
who?
all this kind of
Hey, CD. Do you have any proof of what you're?
yeah. There's a video I can share with you if you want.
Of a disgruntled employee?
No, no, no. About hanging, I mean, sexually harassing his employee in a nightclub in a bar, and there's a video out there. And these are poor people. You can't do that. If you do that in America, you'll be in jail. And I've seen that on YouTube channel. I've seen that out there, right? So I'm not saying
We
that he's
gotta
not
be.
here,
I
but the
mean,
way the way
we gotta be careful what we say without any.
yeah, yeah, but I see the video. I'm not lying to you. If you want, I can get a video and send it to you. If you want. It's out there.
Hold on, Delaney X. Did O'Shea and Afro Think Tank? Did they have that debate? Delaney, do me a favor. Put the link. We might watch some of that tonight. Put the link of that, Delaney, in the chat room, please. Delaney, put the link of that in the chat room of O'Shea's and Afro Think Tank's debate. We'll watch some of that. Delaney, put the link in the chat room. We'll watch some of that tonight. Let me pass the mic to Hello. Go ahead, Hello.
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Good evening from here. Good morning from here. Dynast. Hello, everyone else. I didn't want to come on, but sometimes I feel like it feels disrespectful for anyone to just open their gob and talk bullshit, shooting themselves on their feet, whichever side they come from, you know. But mainly there's a particular set of people that come, here. When they talk, they feel entitled, they think they are gods, they think the world revolves around them. But I bet when you really zoom into them with a microscope, it says otherwise. No one is anyone's messiah, and no one is an island We need each other one way or another. Last time I came here, I said, I do not think that the continent can unite with our brothers on the other side, especially the FBAs who want to delineate, and I respect that. I actually want them to delineate, if I'm pronouncing it right, because every human being has the right to be whatever they want to be. You cannot stop someone from progressing in life. If that's going to make them to have their freedom wherever they are, be better people for themselves and their children, why not? Live and let live. But don't come online to come and sing to me every day, tell me your FBA and all that, you know. I don't care. I don't want to know. Just do you. And I will do me. I will be African, and Africans will be themselves. And do not think for one day that you're going to be the one saving Africa. Africa need to look inward. Only Africans can save themselves. Only Africans can help themselves. You are not entitled to ask for any land in Africa. I am not entitled to ask for anything for free in America. It's meritocracy. If you want to land in Africa, be on the queue like every other person in business and get it the right way, you know. Go to any country of your choice in Africa. You can travel with diners to Africa, get to know Africa, learn the ropes, learn the whatever you need to acquire land to do your business. But that land, when you buy it, you're not buying it for me or other Africans. You will be a business selling and advertising to attract people and making money off Africans. After all, there are a lot of big companies like Colonial that are, you know, they will never leave Africa. Most of them are there exploiting Africans for pennies. You can join the queue. Or better still, build that company in America and employ people in your neighborhood. They say beauty begins at home. Start your beauty from home. Don't come here and tell me you want land because this and that happened to you. Africa has suffered too. I'm not here to say, tell you that what you've been through to minimize it. No, that's not the discussion. I respect it. And I appreciate when you say how you feel about what's happened. I do appreciate that. But you're not entitled if you have money inside your pocket. Money is not everything. Maybe perhaps Africa don't need that sort of money right now. Africa need to look inward, come together and trade among themselves, rediscover themselves, rebuild themselves, believe in themselves the more, and not waiting for any messiah from anyone who is saying they don't have any African blood, like as if I want you to look like me. Who told you there are no light skins in Africa? There are a lot of beautiful people, models in Africa. If you haven't been, do not open your ignorant gob to speak trash. It's not allowed. That's disrespectful. You are not more beautiful or handsome than anyone else in Africa. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholders. There are beautiful people in America, so as in African continent. Sometimes when I see people put side by side pictures of what an American should look like, Black Americans should look like, African Americans should look like versus an African, and I smile, I'm like, this is not it. It's not true. There are very light-skinned Africans that actually look as if they have European blood. I know people who were, both parents were Africans, they had baby in the UK, and in the hospital, they wanted to test the genes of those kids. They can't believe that those two Africans produced a baby with blue eyes, not albino, okay? So please educate yourselves on both sides and get to know one another, but don't come online and open an ignorant gob to speak. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't make you any smarter. When you speak, you're like a fish head. I'm sorry to say that. Thank you. I'm done.
All right, let me pass the mic to Nigel. Go ahead, Nigel.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dinas. Greetings, everyone on the panel, the chat, and to the viewers. I think I agree to an extent with the last two speakers. The lady that said that the African American community should build themselves up in America, and while they are doing it, if they want to do anything in Africa, they are also free to do that. Because I think when you are stronger at home, the more likely you are going to be able to assist people elsewhere. I think the same thing is even happening to Nigeria, and because there's so much expectations from Nigeria, and Nigeria is failing those expectations. And because if you look at Nigeria, Nigeria has been so selfless in the past, and they never really focused on themselves. And now we are almost useless to everyone else. So I think there's an element of trying to build yourself up before you assist other people, because then at least you'll be sure-footed and actually be useful to other people, instead of trying to help people when you have not stood, you don't have a footing on your own. But about the statement regarding not being entitled to any land in Africa, I think I differ a little bit on that one, because Africa has an original sin, especially when we look at West Africa and Central Africa. We have an original sin that our ancestors took part in, selling human beings into slavery, and a brutal one for centuries. And to say those children and those grown-ups and that were taken, ripped out of the continent, and their descendants do not have any holdings on the continent, I think is to reinforce the breach. Something we should be trying to exercise from our whole consciousness. And I really think that there has to be a way, because if Americans, the African Americans, can demand reparation from Europeans, and you mean they don't have any rights to anything on the continent in any way. I think there has to be something that can be done to redress that, and also changes that need to be made on the continent to take account of some of the lessons learned from trading on human beings, because I actually think is an original sin, because when you give away human beings as if they are like property, you are missing one of the most fundamental things in life. You are giving away the most advanced creation that you know in the entire universe as if they are trinkets, something that has been given to you practically for free. And you do that. I think we are being punished for that. And we paid the price, because clearly the people we gave them to use them to do greater things than we ever did. And if we cannot learn from that, I don't think we can learn any fundamental lessons, anything else really. And I really think that we need to bridge that gap, and we need to do more than just say we want to do business with you. Something needs to be done to redress that breach that has occurred. It's not only for the diasporans, it's also for Africans. Africans need to make peace with what they've done. I don't understand why we on the continent act as if we have amnesia. And because, you saw what happened with the Iraq war, not Iraq war, sorry, the World War II, how the Germans, have to do some of those reparations, try to fix all the things that they've done. Today, they are still trying to figure all those things out, but Africans just pretend as if nothing happened. And I think that may be part of our problem. Because if you cannot remember some of the things your ancestors have done, how can you even remember, see what you are doing today? So I just think that both sides need to think more carefully about what we need to do. And I think the continent really need to fight and be against some of these oppressive behavior that some of our people have against each other. Till today, we are still doing it. The behavior that you see that resulted in slave trade is not changed. It's not changed. I've heard Nigerians talk about how it would be okay for us to send 50 million Nigerians overseas to go and work. They still don't understand they've done something wrong. And that needs to change. And I was so furious to hear that lady say that, because I was like,
hey,
you are willing to give away 50 million of your people.
To Nigel, 30, 40 seconds. I gotta pass the mic.
Thank you. I will stop. Thank you for that. So I was like, you are willing to give away 50 million of your people, because you still don't understand that giving away human beings It's a terrible thing to do. Because you've not learned anything from slave trade. That you have to have those people develop your own country, not to give them away. And I really don't have any issue with anybody wanting to delineate, because you have to have an identity to be able to even know how to help people. And as long as you're not using it to fight the community, I don't have any issue with that. Thank you.
All right, let's pass to the insight. Then after insight, we're gonna watch. I want to watch some of this. We'll watch together some of this O'Shea versus Afro think take debate. Go insight.
Yeah, what's up, Georgia Bulldog? Super great. Um, your title says there's no slave ships. What about the white man? Well, I would say this to anyone, because I've heard this before. Um, we can at least all agree and admit that we have literally millions of photos of Europeans coming here on ships. Millions, right? Ellis Island, right? That's all recorded. 12 million, at least 12 million Europeans came here on boats to Ellis Island. All of them on boats. It's all recorded. When it comes to us, USA descendants of shadow slaves, we have zero. There are literally zero pictures of us coming here on slave ships. Or any point over the last 400 years, there's literally zero pictures of us coming to America. 400 years from 1600s to this every day, zero. The white man, at least we know 12 million at least from Ellis Island. That's all written on paper, and the ships that came like 1820 up into Ellis Island. So we have the literal logbooks of tens of millions of white people coming here. With us, almost zero. Because if you look at slavevoyage.org, they got 36,000 ships. I mean, slave ships. But slavevoyage.org would tell you that they don't have the slaves themselves. Like, it's all a guess. When you go on slavevoyage.org, it says these are all guesses. It says literally on every estimate, these are estimates. We don't have proof that 400,000 Africans came here. 300,000, 200,000, 100,000. In fact, slavevoyage.org, which is the #1 site on planet Earth, Henry Louis Gates is associated with it. He admits that they can't even prove 20,000 Africans came here. He goes, we don't have the evidence. These are all guesses and estimates. So when people want to quote, well, what about slavevoyage.org? Those, if you read the back, and I read the small print, like, we don't have proof of Africans coming here like that. We can't prove 20,000 Africans landed in America. Like, there is no proof. These are all estimates. So when slavevoyage.org says 36,000 slave ships left Africa for the New World, they would tell you when it comes to the United States of America, North America, outside of a few hundred, they said there's no proof. These are all guesses. So I'm going to end with that the difference is, Georgia Bulldog Great, is that for the last 400 years, zero ships of us USA descendants of shadow slaves come here. Zero. 400 years. The white man, we got millions of photos of him on boats. So yeah, so when people say, well, what about the white man? Well, we got millions of pictures of the white man come here through Ellis Island. We got zero. 400, if you compare apples to apples, 400 years, zero. I'm talking about 1600s to this every day. USA descendants of shadow slaves, we have zero photos. The white man, millions of photos. I lay my claim. We're not African.
All right, guys. Let me Inside. Have you bought my documentary Inside?
Oh man, I just noticed it today. I just saw it when I clicked on.
Okay, everybody go to documentary.searchforhuru.com again. Documentary.searchforhuru.com. All right, link is in the chat room. Link is on the screen, and please, there's a way I could actually pin that. I think can I pin it? But guys, please go and support and buy the documentary. Shout out to Mrs. Sandman. Thank you for $4.99. Holla, does he know when the camera was invented? Yeah, but guys, please go to documentary.searchforhuru.com and buy my documentary. All right, please. I appreciate. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all y'all. And let's get into this. Say it again. I got to answer.
Does your documentary begin with you in college, or when does it start?
It starts for me when I was little, and it does. And I do cover when I was in college. So let me.
I gotta get it.
Yeah, please buy the documentary, everyone. Please buy the documentary. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get into some of this. I do want to watch some of this. We'll watch together some of this debate.
Dennis, good night, man. I don't watch those stuff, man. This is the only show I come on. This is a bunch of great stuff. Good night, man.
I appreciate you.
Take care, CD.
All right, bye-bye, CD. Yeah, bye-bye. All right, let me put the link in the chat room real quick. Give me a second. Well, not in the chat room, but where's the hold on, he just gave it to me.
Was that Swimmer? No, I'm on mute.
All right, here we go. I wish. Let me ask you this: does O'Shea have a link of it? I would rather watch it on well, you know, you can watch it on Afro Think Tank. So here we go. Let me.
Star, you bored? What are you gonna get? You want to do something, Star?
Hey, you need to mute yourself. What'd you say? All right, here we go.
All right, I had to switch to StreamYard because this thing is tripping.
All right, y'all. Here's the debate.
We can do it this way. I mean, outside and shit. Y'all see that? Oh, here we go. Add the stage. Here we go. All right, now we here. All right, I'm gonna let you start off, O'Shea. Let's get through it.
No. I'm just here to say, you know, I know we've been kind of having a little bit of intellectual back and forth, and it ain't always been pretty. But I just wanted to say that despite our many differences, that you are a real brother in the Pan African movement. In many ways, you inspire me. So I want everybody to know, yeah, I have cussed out Afro Think Tank publicly and in my mind, but
I figured that. Let me turn it. You know what? I had a okay. All right, never mind. All right, guys. Hit the like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Let me bring on Amara. Go ahead, Amara.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
This talk about the last speaker said there's no record about black people leaving Africa to come to America to be there's no record. There's a record of white people, but there's no record of them. You see, this thing right here is my take on the whole thing is I look at an African and I look at people of African descent or people that it's a debate. We that got left behind, we got culture, we got our own culture, the culture that was there, we still kept it, we still kept the language, we still have an attachment to the place. Now the dispute about people that were there or were not there or on off and on. The thing about the whole thing is pride. You see, I can say I'm sitting on hundred because I come from royalty, and I'm sitting on hundreds of acres I can go to. I'm sitting on a museum that could shows kings in my whole family that ruled our land. I speak the language. I have things attached to it. So if people do not have things attached to it, the place and the people, I mean, this is a modern day 2026. You move on, but all this debate is pride. Pride. People, you look at an African, he already got everything he got in Africa. You don't have it. You got a detachment. So you attach yourself to where you at, and you attach yourself to the history where you at. That's what you can claim, you know. So it's not really a debate. The thing about de-alienation, you don't have most de-alienation, whatever. Okay, somebody correct me. But that means you're cutting off any connection with a place or people. You see what I'm trying to say? It's pride. It's a pride thing. Do you benefit? Are you prideful of it? Does it
Don't
bring when you
everybody
hear
else
the
stop
name
proud where they
Africa?
come from?
When you hear the name Africa or Africans, does it bring you joy or does it bring you? Are you hurt? You see what I'm trying to say? So this whole thing is about is about pride. And so if people you say you de-alienate, you don't have much relationship with the place. You never put in the time. So there's nothing to lose. You ain't got nothing to lose because you spend more time at another place instead of Africa. When you say Africa, you got to put in the time and then have something to hold on to, and then you can de-alienate and lose it. But you know it's like a dude that got a kid that he never was in his life, and you don't have much of a relationship, and then you say, oh, that's my kid right there. It's about putting in time, and it's pride and joy. If pride and joy, you don't get pride and joy from something, you cut it out, or you dissociate or de-alienate from it, which I don't have. Sometimes it's a security blanket. It's a security blanket, it's protection. If you don't want,
30 seconds, and I'll pass the mic.
Can I
yeah, yeah,
rebuttal?
yeah, yeah. But it's a security blanket, it's protection. You need boundaries and guardrails to help yourself. That's it.
Can I
Who
rebuttal
wanted?
on that?
Yeah, it's your turn anyway. It's your turn anyway. Not African kid. Go ahead.
All right, so my take on it is right. For one, I'm not FBA. You feel me? I don't claim to be FBA, but my family is indigenous to the America. You know what I'm saying? And I don't got no problem with Africans. Besides, like when Africans trying to tell us who we are, and my whole take on it is FBA is like, so we was colonized by other black people. If y'all don't know that, those are the same people that's causing division. I have no problem with Africans, Jamaicans, Haitians, none of that. You know what I'm saying? We all aborigines to where our ancestors come from, but we not African.
Okay, it's not a problem. Not
Mm-mm-mm.
a problem. No problem.
I'm just trying to figure out what prize do we get for saying that we indigenous to America. We still under the white man nuts. We still complain about the white man, but we go for the white man for jobs. We claim we hate the white man, but we go to the white man to get a car loan. We hate the white man. We hate the system. The system is oppressing us, but we follow the white man laws, rules, and regulations. So, and at the end of the day, and then we vote for, as a whole, black people, we vote for a political party, 92%, that sit up here and don't brought more Latinos in. And this is the funny part. They go after Latino votes. They do things for Latinos. They make laws and everything for Latinos. They make laws for Asians. They make laws for everything but black people.
Exactly, because it's
And
our
black
land,
people
and they taking
and,
our land.
and black people who's taking our land.
The colonizers, and I don't complain about white people. White people
Well,
ain't do
well,
shit to
hold
my
on, no,
people.
I
It was
get
other
you.
niggas, other Negroes who colonized my people.
What I'm saying is don't matter. You stay in America though, right?
For sure.
But what I'm saying is you're under the system of oppression, and at the end of the day, it's just like a dog and it's a big dog. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna fight the big dog. He's gonna turn around and fight the smaller dog. You get what I'm saying? See,
Nah,
you
you talking
don't.
about FBA, not me, bro.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just talking about black people. Period. Black people can't fight. Black people talk about fighting white people. They
You
don't
talking about
fight them.
indoctrinated motherfuckers. I'm not scared of a fucking pale face
Just,
or
I
what.
understand you're not scared of them. Saying you're not scared of them and fighting them is two different things. That's just like saying, man, I ain't scared of nobody, but you ain't got it not one fight in your life. You'll talk about you'll kill everybody, but you ain't never killed nobody in your life. But what I'm saying
I
is
can't even
that,
hear
but
nothing.
I'm not talking about you, bro. Stop taking this person. You going back and forth with me like I'm talking to you or something. You know, I don't know you. I'm just talking about black people in general. So what I'm saying is black people do a whole lot of hooping and hollering like they ready to do something, but then on Monday morning, they flying through the interstate trying to get to work, to clock in. They ain't boycotting their business, the white people business. They ain't boycotting the white people goods and services. You get what I'm saying? But we punch down. That's what we do. And it's silly to sit up there and say we don't. We punch down on the Asians. Fine. We punch downs on the immigrants. I mean, on the African immigrants or Haitian immigrants or Jamaican. But what we don't do, we don't punch down on Latinos because you know why? Latinos don't pay no attention to us. They don't fuck with us. We damn sure don't punch against white people because we don't go to white people neighborhoods and destroy their shit. We don't go to white people neighborhood and kicking their door and rob them. We don't go to white people neighborhood and set up shop and sell drugs. We don't go to white people neighborhood and rob and steal and all that stuff. We don't set up there and set up shop and set up corners. You get what I'm saying? On white people neighborhood, we do that to each other because it's easy to go against each other, and it's easy to go against people that has less numbers. The funny part is we act just like white people. We're just mad because white people don't like us the way that we love them. We love white people.
Bro, let me ask you, okay, but we're part white anyway. If you come from slavery.
I get it. I agree with you 100%.
And we've been with the white man for 400 years, so it wouldn't surprise me that we act white. When we've been with the white man alone for 400 years and we're part white anyway. So I don't we speak the white man language where the white man fashion played the white man transportation under the white man government. The white man gave us our religion, Christianity. The white man
I agree with you.
The white man gave us our education, HBCUs. Hey, the white man gave us the marching band. The white man gave us our childhood stories, Hansel and Gretel. Hell, most of the movies and TV shows are the white man. So yeah, it makes sense. We're integrated with it.
I get it. Yes. But what I'm saying is at the same time, now think about it. You saying what you just said, black people call you a coon.
Yeah, they'll call me a coon, but they can't deny the truth. Bro, we got bro, we got the white man's name. Bob, Washington, Jefferson. We got the slave master's name.
You preaching to the Georgia mass. You're preaching to the Georgia mass choir, bro. I'm telling you, I'm on this platform every week saying the same thing that black people, we sit up here and then they complaining about white people. When I'm telling you, how do you complain about something that everything you do, every time you idolize, in the way we have funerals is based on the way white people have it. You get what I'm saying? White people started having the six, 7 limousines and all that stuff. Now you got a few black people that will do the New Orleans thing to have the little carriage, the little horse and carriage thing to ride around. But most of us do it just like white people do it. You get what I'm saying? Like we trying to do the rodeo just the way white people do it.
Check this out. Have you heard of the D9 AKAs? Well, we got the fraternities and sororities from the white.
Hey, you got Diners right there. Throw up your symbol, Diners. Throw up your symbol.
We white as hell.
we white as fuck. You get what I'm saying? I sent my son to the Capitol. I sent my son to the Capitol thing too, man. I sent him there every year. Some good brothers in there, man.
Hey, bro, what you mean we trying to do the rodeo shit? Rodeo is our culture. It comes from our ancestors.
Hang on, we love
it's sad, man.
Christian Dior.
It's sad. Yes, sir, Mr. Son. It's sad.
Hey, do you have any commentary for all the Africans that run over here to be around these white people? Do you have any commentary about them?
Yeah. So
Africa.
Hey, y'all! I could have swore I was talking, y'all. Y'all let me finish talking. Yeah, y'all can go ahead and say whatever y'all want.
You got any commentary?
So I'll go ahead and finish talking, and then all of y'all can go after me. I didn't say nothing.
You've been talking the whole time, bro.
I ain't even. I've been talking all the time. I said 5 words, then the brother started talking. But I didn't.
I'm asking you, got a lot to say about black Americans. Any commentary for the black people who run the white country?
I tell you what, when you get a chance to talk,
I'm asking you a question.
About whatever you want to talk about.
I'm asking you a question.
I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about, and then when you get the mic, I promise you, I won't interrupt you at all when you talk about whatever you want to talk about. That's just common sense. That just common sense. Like all y'all sitting up there acting like sitting up there running y'all mouth, talking, acting like the hoes that raised y'all. You know what I'm saying? We can sing at the same time. We can sing at the same time, but we can't talk at the same time. Nobody is getting heard
if all
Man,
of us
I'm
are
not
justice,
talking
talking at
about
the
what
same
Red
time.
said.
But like I say,
All you do is cry about black Americans.
this is the
All
number
you
one
do is
thing
cry
that we
about black
have. You get what I'm
Americans.
Okay,
saying?
what I want to say is
You
that
have black
to
people in the
Niger,
cut,
You still crying about
I'm
black
just
not
like the
Americans.
chick
insensitive to
just like the
what's
chick
happening
that
to our
Two Niger
You
brothers.
was
still
talking
crying about
about.
black
If
How she
Americans.
you
was
hear
sitting
me
up there saying that
sometimes on
Africans
this
don't owe us
platform,
nothing. You get what I'm
You still
saying?
crying about
Like
black
that's the
Americans.
mind frame.
yeah,
That's the mind frame that
but
I
I
agree with
do not
Two
like
Niger
it when
100% about. You
anyone
get what I'm saying? Because of
feels
it's the same way in
entitled.
my family. If somebody
You
came back in my
Hey,
yourself
look who's
know
family
still
that
that
this
whining.
was
Listen,
blown
land
listen to
away
who's
has
or
still whining.
whatever, when they
Bro,
came
let
back
the
in,
man
when they
talk,
came
man.
back
Let the
in,
man talk.
then
You're not
we
a
be
man.
obligated
Let me
to bless
finish.
that
If you're a
cousin with
man, you
something
respect
that's a
me when I'm
long lost
talking. You
cousin. You
stay
get what I'm
quiet,
saying?
please.
So
Thank you.
it's
Talk,
just the
bro.
way
Talk.
it is. It
Talk.
should be
Finish your point.
natural. You get what I'm saying?
Finish
But
your
What
at
I'm
the
point.
end,
saying
Finish your
is
at the
point.
that
end of the day,
what
you
I'm
get what I'm
saying is
saying?
that
The black people,
most
all they
lands in
do is
Africa
run them
are
out there. You can
indigenous.
catch any of them
Where I
up here,
come
ask
from,
any of them,
the
what do they
farms
do
we
for
have,
black
there
people?
are no free
What do they do
lands.
for the black
People in
community?
the
Because I damn
villages
sure can tell you what I do.
have
Because I
these
help
lands
black
passed
people
to their
every single
generations
week.
from generation to
Every single
generation.
week become
So,
entrepreneurs.
what
You get what I'm
land are you
saying?
going to
And
have?
that's every
Unless you
week
go to
where
the
I go set up.
government,
Most of
maybe
these
they
black
plant some
people
land in the
just
Sambisa
emotional.
forest.
They don't have
But most
shit.
lands are
They don't do
indigenous,
shit.
and
And they
people
just
who
sit up
live
here and
on
they
Can
just
those
the
run
lands
their
lady
mouth.
wait,
can
So
please?
that's what's
and they
going
belong
on
to
right now.
people.
You get what I'm
You
So
still
saying?
crying.
asking
And
for
I'm not gonna
land from
segue to nobody
Africans,
because nobody ain't
you
finna
go to the
interrupt me.
government but
And
don't
I ain't
feel
gonna respect
entitled.
nobody that's
I
talking
don't
over that talking when I'm
support
talking.
any
I
form of
don't give a fuck if
slavery,
there's a
and I don't
female,
support
a
what
dog, a
forefathers
cat,
did.
3
You know what
chickens,
I
or a
mean?
goat. You get what
But
I'm saying?
I
So if
cannot
she wanna run her
support
mouth, then
anyone
ain't nobody
feeling
gonna hear her because
entitled
I ain't gonna stop
and
talking
telling me
because she
that
talking. She can sit up there
Africans
and
are
run her mouth
ugly.
and nobody
You
don't give a
remind
damn what
me
she got to
that
say
you don't
about
look like
Africa
me, which I
and what
don't
she
mind,
thinks
and you
about
want to
Africa. You
delete
get what I'm
it, and
saying?
you talk
And that's
down
just
at
the
me,
end of
you
the
talk bullshit
story.
about me,
That's
and
why
then
you
you say
have
you want
people
land.
like
Hell
you have
no.
normal people
I
that
still
from
stand on
Nigeria
that.
that talks
And
Yo,
I'm
I
like T
still talking. Let
Niger
sensitive.
somebody
that
else
sit up
talk.
there and say
Sensitive, and I
that say the stuff
respect
that need to
what
be
my
said. You
brothers
get
have
what I'm
been
saying?
through.
That's
I
why
do.
females shouldn't even be allowed in
Thank
these
you.
conversations because they sound crazy. We had the chick the other day was sitting up here talking about how she was LBA and how she hate white people, but then still sitting up there talking about she think that some of the justices gave a wink and a nod, and Amy Coney Barrett gonna sit up there and she think that she's gonna vote because
You
she's
passionate
facing
and
political.
ignorance.
She's talking about political pressure.
You
How
still crying.
it's not one single justice that's on political pressure. They have a lifetime position. But
You still crying.
some type of way, black people think that white people are gonna do them some type of favor. It's just crazy. So if you and listen, I have no problem with FBA talking about delineating. But the thing about it, just do it. Like, who's stopping you from doing it? Who's in your way? You get what I'm saying?
Thank
Like,
you.
I'm on the sideline. I would love to see. I would love
Well,
to
you
see
still
that.
talking.
I would love to
You
see
still
that
whining.
information go. Listen, to what I'm saying. I would love to see that information go before a court, go before a
Yep.
judge. I don't.
Thank
What I'm
you.
telling you is that I don't see nobody standing in the way. Like
That's
nobody
because
in
it's
the same
another
way. And
government
at
operation,
the
bro.
same time,
Thank you.
I don't see it. I don't see nothing get presented either. Nothing get
Thank
presented
you.
and nothing in the way.
Hey,
But they
bro, let
sit
me
up
ask
there and
you,
act
bro.
like
Hey,
Africans in the way. How the
yeah,
hell
bro.
Yeah.
Africans?
Oh, you
How the
still
hell
going, huh?
Africans stop you for presenting something to a federal court or to a state court for anything? How is African stopping you? Because
Progression of black suffering.
Can I talk, bro?
it was
Damn. Can
black
somebody else
people that
get a
stopped the
sign
it
for
was
me?
black people that stopped it in the black caucus that stopped the reparation
Facts. Facts.
the thing that was black Americans. That wasn't
But
Africans.
we not all the same though, bro.
Well,
That's what
brother,
you
You
gotta
still
here's the
crying,
thing.
understand,
bro.
bro.
You
Listen,
still
I
crying, bro.
understand that we ain't the same. I understand we ain't the same because it's a group of black people that do something. I'm every Saturday and
You
Sunday.
the group
I'm
who
trying to
bitch
get
and
black
cry
people to be entrepreneurs. That's
every
what I
week.
do. That's what I do every week. And everybody know this on
on this platform. This is every week I go out and try to get black brothers to be
Well,
entrepreneurs,
save your
try to
breath
get
for
them in
that
the
then. Save
try
your
to
breath
get
for
them in the
that.
transportation game. You get
Hey,
what I'm saying? But you
let me,
can't
let me,
find a black person on this platform or any of them that regardless just talking and complaining that's doing anything for black people.
hey, bro,
Everything is a what if,
what is your
everything is
point?
a years to
Hey,
come, and everything else. I'm just tired of the complaining. But I'll
what
let
is your
y'all get
point?
back to complaining and saying what y'all gonna do in the future. Go ahead.
No, I want, what
Hey
is
So
your
man, let
point?
me handle this bro talking about Africans running over here.
he gonna cry and then run away. He gonna cry
Who
and then
let
run away.
Africans come in here? The white man. The same white man that let Africans come in here and call ice on them. Right? The same way the Africans let Africans come in is the same way he got ice to get them out. So the white man's the one that run the show. You see what I'm trying to say? So you
That's
can't
not true,
say
bro.
anything about that.
Yeah. The white
Then
That's
man
not
is
true,
secondly, you
bro.
talking about I really want SBA to go before the Congressional Black Caucus, try to
For
present
what? They
some
colonizers.
legislation. Hold on, let me finish. To present some legislation and tell the Congressional Black Caucus to galvanize votes for de-alienation from Africans.
They not with us, bro. Those are
well, they're not
colonizers.
with
You
us.
keep
That's
saying
what
the
I'm
Black
No, no,
saying.
no,
Panthers.
no, no.
They're
Where you
not
gotta
with us.
find some. No, where you gotta
Nah, the
find a way
black caucus
to get,
they ain't black
White
first.
bro.
supremacists,
You gotta find a way to get
Fuck no.
some law made. And those are the people right now that's a representative. You can't just
Give it
sit and
time.
talk.
Give it
What
time.
what should
I
we
got
give
a
you time?
question.
No,
I
no, I
got a
ain't gonna give you
question
no
for the
more time,
the
bro.
Africans. I
CDC
got
is
a
so
question
I
for
ain't
the
giving
corrupt.
you
The
no
Africans.
more time, bro.
CDC.
This time, hey,
Hey,
this
we got
game
hey,
time right now, bro.
you
This
don't
game
grant us
time
time,
right now.
bro.
You just
We
take up
take
your
all the
time,
time we
bro.
need.
I got a question
What
for
you
the
know?
Africans, bro. Was
You
y'all
see,
not
that's the thing right here. That's why nobody gonna take
first
y'all
nigga
serious.
talking over everybody, bro?
Nobody
I
gonna
got a
take y'all
question for the
serious.
I got a question for the
We
Africans though.
we serious enough to, for you to be on this call right now crying about it.
Was y'all not colonized by black Europeans too?
Black Europeans.
Yeah.
Man, nobody call them
Americans,
black
Did he really
Europeans.
rant and
Americans.
hang up? Did that guy really do
So
all that crying and then hung up?
Bruh, but FBA, y'all gotta be serious, man. Y'all
I'm
get
not
some
FBA,
legislation
bro. I'm
done.
not
Americans
FBA.
Well,
I'm
come
okay,
American
well,
from
Indian.
black Europeans come
you're
from.
American Indian.
The
Hmm.
white
And
man
so
is
what the
Sure.
Indian people doing for you?
What do you mean? What about dude? That's my family.
What
What
are
are you
they
talking
doing
about?
for you to make you feel better
Hold
or
on.
better?
What
Hold
else
on.
you talking
Existing
about?
as an ethnic group don't mean the ethnic group is doing something for you. Like if you say you're Nigerian, I say what your Nigerian people doing
No,
for
but
you.
I'm
What kind
saying,
of
But
question
they
is
act like
that?
they monolithic
no,
too. They act
yeah,
like
you
they
got
all
some
together
Yeah,
kids,
too.
right?
you just are.
You
You
got
just
some kids,
are.
right?
You just exist. It don't have to be your people doing something for you. Obviously, your people ain't doing shit for you because you're over in America running your mouth. But I wouldn't
Exactly.
ask you
Who
what
told
your
you
people
about
are
doing?
doing for you.
You know what I do? First of all, I was born in America and I got the same damn rights
Oh,
you
so
got.
your mom and them ran there. So your mom and daddy ran
Let
then.
me tell you that.
So you an
I was
anchor
born in
baby.
America and got the
So
same
you an
damn
anchor
rights you
baby.
got.
So
So
you're an
first
anchor
of all,
baby.
I'm not an anchor baby. There's no such thing as anchor baby.
You an
There's
anchor
no such
baby.
thing as anchor
You are
baby.
the textbook
No,
definition
now
of an
there's
anchor
no
baby.
such thing as anchor baby.
Yes,
There's
it
no
is.
such thing as
An
anchor
anchor baby
baby.
would say
I
that.
even know what
Anchor
an
baby
anchor
would
baby
say
is.
that.
You know what an anchor baby is? Let me give you the
You,
definition of anchor baby.
you,
When
you.
somebody purposely comes to America to have kids. When my parents
Like
came
your
here,
parents
they
did.
had
Like
no
your parents
plan.
did. Like your parents
Listen, they
did.
had no plan. My
Like your
parents
parents did.
was a select group of intellectuals.
What was their
Five,
How long were your parents in America before they had
people
you?
that came over here, that
How
came over
long
here
were
to
your parents in
replace the
America
British.
before they had you? How long were your
Listen,
parents in
bro,
America
listen.
before
You
they
want
had
to know
you?
my story? You want to know my story?
No, no, no.
You know my story?
I want a number. How many
Listen.
years?
Get a
How
wax
many
out of
years?
here and listen to me. You're not
How many
listening.
years? It's just a number. A
Listen.
number.
You're
I just
not
need a number.
listening.
It's a
You're
simple
not
number.
listening because you got a lot of wax in your ass.
How long means a
You see what
number?
I'm
You
saying?
smart. You smart. The answer is a
Forget
number.
about the bullshit they tell you.
A
My
number.
parents came here. My parents came
A,
here
nu-
from
a
the British
number.
government,
3
from
years.
the British
4
government to the
years.
United States government,
5 years.
from the British government. You won't
A
listen?
number.
You
I'm
don't know
listening
you're
for. I'm
Our
listening?
listening
family's
for a
been here for
number.
Man,
thousands of years,
stand up
millions of
there and
years.
wax out your ass so you can learn
A
something.
number. I'm listening for a number.
The British government and the United States government
Calm
are an
down, bro.
arrangement
Calm
for
down
Damn,
before you
bro,
have a
you
heart
Africans
attack,
yelling,
bro.
to
bro.
come here
Calm,
and
calm down and say a number, man.
eventually so they could go replace the British when the British were living in Africa. When they came here, they had no plans to have me. It just happened.
Okay,
And
so
when
so
they was
so how
done,
long? How long?
hear
How
me out.
long?
When
What's
they
the
was
number?
done training,
Two years.
they took
3
me as an
years.
African. I had to live in Africa for 13 years. And
Okay,
I
how
got
many?
my
So how long?
citizenship in
2 years.
Africa.
3
Dumbass,
years.
dumbass,
Hold on.
4
Let me
dumbass.
years.
just add to it.
Yeah,
Hold on,
dumbass,
hold
this
on.
motherfucker
4
right here, they be
years.
feeling that.
Amara, just hold on
No,
for a
you can't
second.
do
So,
nothing to me, bro. I was born in
2
this country. I
years.
get the same damn right
So
you got.
how long?
Not a
It's a
goddamn
simple
thing.
question.
Why you
They
didn't
got
do do shit to me, bro.
Amara, calm down.
Nobody trying to do anything. I'm asking
Calm down for a
for a
second now.
number.
You're just shouting now.
You
We
gotta
can't
put
hear
it
you.
Why you getting so defensive about a number?
No, because
How
I
many
gotta
years
put
were they here?
Oh my
It's a
I
simple
was in
number.
Africa for 11 years.
Minus, man.
On
You need to come control your
18 as
platform,
an
man.
Amara,
adult,
you're just
I became
shouting
a
now.
You need to
citizen.
come control your
In
A
platform,
number.
Africa.
Minus.
Amara,
Can I please get a number?
calm down.
Can I please get a number?
So it don't matter. The British government
Can I
and the
get a
American
number?
government had an agreement to train Africans so they can replace
So how
the
many
breeders
years?
Exactly. Y'all make
before
agreements
they
with the
gain
United States
independence.
government. We go to war with the United States
So
government.
how
You
many
see what I'm
years?
saying?
So how many
Before
years?
they gain independence. So you don't know nothing. An anchor baby is somebody that purposely comes to America
So how
to
many
do
years?
one thing to have a baby.
How
My
many
parents
years,
said was
sir?
training. They
So
training.
come on.
In fact, my
I'm
dad and
trying
my
to
mother,
let's work it out. They
these
got
come
here
from
in this year, and you were
the
born in what
northern
year?
side of America.
How many
Okay?
years, bro? How many
How many
years?
You
years
see
were your
what I'm
parents here,
saying?
bro? This ain't a hard question.
How many years?
What you mean? My training, my dad's training, my parents' training?
Your parents got to America in what year, and how many years after that did they have you? Simple
Yeah,
question.
how
How
many
many
years?
years were they in America before they
My
had you?
parents, my
Hold on.
parents, my parents, my parents
Hold on,
came
hold on.
to
Are
10
you
years in
saying?
America.
Are you saying that
Please let him
it's
answer the
only
question.
Europeans? Hold
They
on, hold
got
on.
trained, they
Please
came
answer.
to America to get trained.
Please let him
They
answer
had
the
no,
question.
Hold
no
on for a
plans of
second.
having a baby.
Amara, hold on
They
for a
had no
second.
plans of
Are you
having a
trying to
baby,
say?
dog.
Are you trying
It's a
to
real
say?
simple
Hold on,
question.
hold on,
It's
Yeah,
hold
not
no,
on,
but
hold
complicated.
on.
it's not a plan. It's not a plan. The killing.
Amara, hold on for a second. Amara, hold on for a second. Are you trying to say it's only
I'm
Europeans
asking for a
that can
number. It's not
travel?
that complicated.
Hold on. Quincy, hold
He
on. Are you
obviously
trying
ain't
to
gonna give you a
say?
number, bro.
Are you trying to say only other groups of people, other races, have the
I'm
ability
saying
to
I want
go
a number. That's
anywhere?
what I'm saying.
Hold
It's
on.
not
No,
complicated.
let's get to
Hey,
the core
speaking
of the
loud
issue.
over me don't make you rush. I'm
Hold
asking
on.
for a number. This ain't rocket science. Y'all always so smart, but you can't get a damn number.
Let's get to the core of your
I'm
Y'all
giving
so
you a
question.
smart.
damn
Rocket
number.
science.
How about
Let's
that?
get to the core
It's a
of your
number.
I'm
question.
giving you
Let's
a
get to
damn
the
number.
core
How
of
about
your
that?
question.
A number.
Let's
Exactly, because you're an
let's
anchor
I'm
get to
baby.
the
giving
core
you.
of
Because they
let's
You're
had
not
your
gonna
ass
get
as
it from
soon as
me.
they got here.
question.
You're not gonna get it from me.
Hold on. Let's get to the
You're not
core
gonna
of
get
your
it from
question.
me.
Are you trying to say only Europeans and other group of people can move around the world and gain any advantage?
I
Are
didn't
you
say
trying to say
anything like that. Don't put
because you
words in
are
my
trying
mouth.
no,
I
hold
asked a
on,
simple
because you
question.
are trying to shame Africans to
Anchor
say that
babies do exist,
I
and I
don't
was asking
care.
him a simple question.
My dad didn't know my
See,
mom, and when they came
my
to
problem
America,
is
they
that
come on two
why
different
should
programs.
Amara
They
even
know
have
each
to
other in
defend
America.
himself? Hold
Okay?
on, why
And
should
It's not a
how long
plan
was it before
thing.
they had you? From when they showed up to when they had you, how long
It's
was it?
not a plan
Okay,
thing. They married
let's
with
not
each
start
other in
making noise
America.
now.
I'm
Let's not
gonna
start
give you
making
number.
noise.
My dad was in
Let's not
training.
start
You
making
When
noise
he
wasting
now.
your
done with his
time too,
training,
Okay,
Niger.
same
You're
thing.
wasting
When
your
he was done
time
with
too,
his
let's start
training,
Niger.
making
they
So a
noise.
went back to
number.
Let's start
I
Africa.
can't
making
get a
noise.
I
number.
had to live
Let's
in
start
Africa
making
for
noise.
13 years.
Hey, everybody, look at this. I
13
can't even
years
get a
from my
number.
18th birthday,
This is gonna be
that's
They
when I
so
became
mad about me asking for a number.
Africa, bro.
They mad at me asking for a number, a simple
So
number.
what can be with the number?
They so
What the number
mad.
gonna do for you? What the number gonna do for you?
It answer my
What the
question. Can you
goddamn
please?
thing?
It answer my
What
question.
the number gonna do for you?
It answer my question.
What the number gonna do for you?
It'll let me know exactly
What the
what the plan
goddamn
was.
thing, bro? What the goddamn thing?
So you're not gonna answer the question.
I got that. I don't know. They came in here to do training. When they was
Hey, tell
done,
me,
they
one of
went
y'all
to
got some
Africa
feed.
and
One of
got a
y'all got some
job.
Hey,
feedback, man. One of y'all got some
somebody
feedback.
need to mute up.
When
All
they
right.
came to they came to America, they got training, and they went to Africa and they got a job. They replaced the British. They came here to get
How
training.
many years
Yeah,
between your parents
I
getting
don't
here
know.
to when you was
I
born?
don't know. I
You don't
don't
know what
know.
year
I
you don't
don't
know what
know.
year
But
they
they took
came, and
me
you don't
with
know
them.
what year you was
They
born.
took me with them when they were going back to Africa to get a job. They took me
Okay,
with them.
so you don't know what year you were born, and you don't know what year they got to America.
You are all
Okay,
just
Now,
ranting.
why
you
you
know
want
what?
to know? Why
Hey,
you want to know my
Are
passport
you
let it
not
details?
go
having any
because
intellectual
you're an
Yeah, cause
anchor
why
conversation?
you
baby
want
and
to
you
That's
know?
the
lying
What
about it.
problem.
you
That's why.
Then we
Because
are
anchor
welcome to
people
do
come
that.
over here and
Oh,
pop out kids
how
quick.
much is that? How much is that? I give you $1,000 if you prove I wasn't born in America. I give you
Bro,
a
I don't need
thousand
your
dollars
little
right now.
$1,000, bro. I don't need your little
Now,
$1,000.
how much you want to bump you up to? How much money you got?
I got
How
enough. I
much
don't need
money
your
you
little
got?
$1,000. I
Hey
tell you that
man, just
much.
shut the fuck up there.
You said all of that, but you ain't gonna say a number,
Hey,
huh?
shut the fuck up here.
You so mad because I'm asking
Yeah,
for a
I'm saying the
number?
next year you want to prove I was being born in the United States, I put some money up.
Hey,
Let's
guys,
go.
we got to stop with the f bomb. All right.
No, let's go, man. Let's get
That's
this
what you get
go.
when you ask simple
I
questions.
don't know why you
I
have
don't
to
No,
understand
defend
no,
what's so
I'm
hard
just
about the
saying,
yourself. I
bro.
question.
don't
Let's
understand that. How
go.
are you
How much
defending
money you
yourself,
got?
even if you're anchor baby? No, hold on. Why do
No,
you have to
I
defend
ain't.
yourself, even if you're
No,
anchor
what's
baby?
an anchor baby?
That
An
is the
anchor baby
difference.
to me.
Boy, y'all
No,
got
Why
what's
real
an
should you
offended by
anchor
have
the
to
baby?
anchor
defend
baby, huh?
yourself?
You
An
don't get
anchor
offended by
baby to
anchor
Europeans are
me
babies.
anchor babies, but
Anchor
is
that's
the
not
babies.
people
what
that
kind of
plan
rubbish is
to come
that?
to America. They plan it.
You don't get
I don't
offended
know
by the
They
word
actually
anchor
why
baby.
plan it.
why do you have
Anchor
to
baby.
defend yourself, even if you're
Again, it's
anchor baby?
Bible
Why do you
all
have to
day.
defend
No, but
yourself?
I'm just
All right,
saying I'm
guys.
not an
Guys,
anchor baby.
let me bring Ngolo on. Go ahead, Ngolo.
First of all, good afternoon to all the brothers. I would just like to say, man, this is really embarrassing the way we've been wait, nah, I ain't been doing it, but the way y'all been comporting yourself this majority of this conversation. the brother got 100,000+ subscribers. This goes all over the African world, and even people that's not quote unquote African that view this, and this is how we finna be displaying ourselves and acting. Like, all right, bro, you say you want to delineate people that's Pan-Africanist, say they want to be Pan-Africanist. Having these arguments is not finna help either of our agendas advance. Like, dude was saying before, yeah, which I agree with. We need to be putting in more work, bro, and stop doing the conversations that we even are having are frivolous. They not even finna lead to nobody networking and building it together in real life. So what I'm saying is, bro, we can have all the philosophical conversations we want to. We can call each other names. We can get offended and get emotional. But at the end of the day, none of this stuff is gonna change our standing, bro. And it's really pathetic as men that we
It is
engaging
sad.
in this type of behavior.
It is sad. And might I
Yeah, but
follow up?
somebody's got to
Might I
be
follow
put in
up?
a place.
The reason I'm gonna tell
They
y'all
need to be
straight
put
up,
in a
because I'm
place.
not a Pan Africanist. I'm not. I was, but I'm not. But the reason why I still do join these conversations, honestly, is because I'm always trying to like you just said. Hey, he got a couple hundred subscribers. This is broadcast all across. Africans look at it, Black Americans look at it, and I keep trying to let y'all know, like. And I've asked this question before. If a Black American who's on the fence, right, and they like, do you join with do you join with Africans? Do you practice Pan Africanism, or do you just go full FBA or whatever you want to call it, ADOS, just whatever, delineate the delineation movement? If they listening to these conversations, and they're listening to the responses that Black Americans are getting, they've listened to how I forgot the guy's name, but all he ever does is get on here and talk crazy about Black Americans. I'm matter of fact, I'm a humble myself and say I'm pleading with y'all to see that you are literally. This is how more and more FBAs are created by the day, right? The
Brother,
guy
but I wasn't
yelling
finished
at me.
speaking
Let
though,
me
brother.
get it out. The guy yelling because
Yeah,
I'm
but
asking
I'm
the
just saying
simple.
I wasn't finished speaking just after you finish.
Okay, you know what? I'll be quiet. You go ahead. Keep
No,
it to
you
you.
good, brother. You can finish. I'm just saying I wasn't finished speaking after you finish, so anybody know if they follow you when you finish.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the main thing. The other part is it's hard for me. It's hard for me to sit back and hear just anybody talking crazy about Black Americans. But more importantly, it's hard for me to sit back and hear Black Americans talk bad about Black Americans. You know how they have a xenophobia. There's another word I just discovered. It's a xenocentrism, right? And that's when a person values other people's culture and admires their culture more than their own. And I'm saying this as a person who was a Pan Africanist prior to 2018. That's why I found Dynasty's channel when he was going off and doing his vlogs and stuff. I found him because I was on the Pan African stuff on the checking out Africa, right? But I'm saying this as a former Pan Africanist. The Black Americans, like the guy who's always talking crazy about us, they just don't. They not only do they not value Black American culture, their ethnicity. It's like they're actively attacking it. They want to stomp it into the ground. It's like we did something bad to him. Like he's just disgusted by it. He said he had a 4th of July. What was it, a 4th of July cookout or something? He was disgusted with the conversations his family and friends was having. He's just disgusted by it, right? And I never went that far. I still got my frustrations with Black Americans, right? But it's never to the point of this unloading the clip, drum round clip, all on Black Americans. And that's why I asked him. He had so much to say about we white. We raised around white people. I said, well, what about all the Africans and Caribbeans that run to America? Anything to say about them? And chaos ensued because he be damned about it. He'll talk crazy about us for y'all listen to it all day, every day. And I say, well, what about the people running over here to be around white folks? And suddenly it's all hell break loose, right? So it's just sad. It's just sad. But I'm telling y'all, as a person who still comes to these platforms and still talks, because like I said, Africa cool. There's a couple cool folks around here. But I'm telling y'all, if this is the display, and even like the other night when I was trying to just give a different angle and just let people kind of look at it from my point of view, I'm telling y'all, it does more harm than good to Pan-Africanism. This will completely grow more FBAs and make more people delineate. I'm telling you, I'm pleading that y'all really just take down the defenses and soak in what I'm saying. Because sometimes I get it, you're pissed off with whatever. But if your goal is Pan-Africanism, a lot of what's been going on, man. I'm telling you, it's antithetical to it. So I'm sorry,
I
brother.
got something to say. Everything
But I
FBA been
wasn't
talking
finished
about.
speaking. That's why I
Okay,
interjected
sorry,
before
man.
he
Go ahead,
stopped. I
boss.
wasn't finished.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be quick. It's like, and I'm from the standpoint I'm talking about. It's not even because if you're a real Pan Africanist, in my view, you've already organically came to these conclusions. You don't need any type of convincing. If you are on the fence, you should be doing more. You should be doing more empirical data and your due diligence on your own, and not observe people's behavior, because it's an ideology. It's not really based on the theoretical people that you engage with. Because majority of the people that come on these panels are not serious. So it's like, if you're trying to, and even with the sister before that was talking about, she's trying to interact with people on the internet to get a gauge of how people outside of the country, I guess, act. That's not really that's not. You shouldn't take an evaluative criteria to look at something like that on the internet. It's just not very. You're not going to get an accurate assessment by doing that. But what I would say is, whether you're on the fence, off the fence, whether you are consider yourself a Pan Africanist, focus on the work, man. We not finna get nowhere having these, and we can talk. The talking is good, but if the conversation is not based upon constructive and what can we build upon, and then we can also have the conversation that's not. But when it becomes circular and redundant, and we keep having these same conversations, and people are still coming to the same conclusions when facts are brought to the table, it's pointless. So my thing is, bro, at this point, at this juncture, bro, if you're not putting in work, whatever ideology you espouse, you just wasting your time, man. Y'all brothers have a nice night, man.
Preach,
Yeah,
preach.
Dinus, I haven't spoke yet.
Well, let me add this real quick, brother. Our ancestors from slavery throughout Jim Crow were not Pan-Africanists. Pan-Africanists have always been a sideshow. Frederick Douglass said we don't have anything to do with Africa. Harry Tubman said we're native to America. Hell, even Martin Luther King Jr. said, hey, we don't know nothing about Africa. America is our home. We are American, and culturally we are American. Smokey Robinson said it's offensive to call him African. The other actor brother, what's his name? He said it's also offensive to call him African. So as a people, we've never been Pan-Africans. Pan-Africans have always been a sideshow. It's never been mainstream. It will never be mainstream because we're American. So Pan-Africanism is just a waste of time. We've never been Pan-African as a people. Never. Not slavery, not Jim Crow, not today. It's always a sideshow. That's why these academics have to push African down our throat and make fake movies like the movie Roots. The reason why the academics and they make these fake movies, because we inherently know we're not African. My parents, grandparents never said we were African. They said we were natives. We come from slaves and the natives and the slave master. My grandparents never said a word about Africa. The only time I saw Africans were on TV commercials, hungry, big belly, and flies, and we would donate money. Africa never entered my family's vocabulary outside of helping these poor people. So yeah, go ahead, brother. Take it away. I land.
Yeah. Peace. This is Pharaoh Mr. Rahim. Now concerning the subject, okay, no slave ships were brought to America. Okay, now people, you must educate yourself on certain things, and it don't take long to get educated on these things. All it takes is a little education. When it comes to slave ships, houses, buildings, whatever, okay, wood, brick, human beings, everything gets destroyed and turned to dust. Okay, so you're not going to find any evidence of most of this stuff, because boats, wood, brick, they all get demolished and turned to dust, as if it never existed. Okay, now even your someone who died in your family, your great grandparents, is when they die and get cremated, okay, you're going to get ashes, okay, and you throw those ashes away, then that evidence is gone. There'll be no evidence, okay, but it is text, written text outlives all that. Written text outlives man, okay, and that's why you have to get off your behind and read and be honest about what you read. Okay, the slave trade comes from the text, and that's how we know about the slave trade, because we can read about it, because the text that speaks on the slave trade still survives today. So don't sit up here talking about well, just because there's no evidence didn't mean that it didn't happen. It happened because it was written in the text.
Well, bro, let me ask you, what proof do you have on text that we come from Africa? 400,000 Africans allegedly came to America. Where is your proof? I haven't seen it, brother. I've searched for it. But I want to ask you personally, where is the proof that 400,000 logged in Africans, like, hey, we got 400,000 African names logged in.
Is from the writings. Okay, the proof is from the writings of the people who sold us.
I'm asking you, no, from Africa.
That is why we are here today.
Bro, from Africa, where is the proof? I haven't seen it. This is an honest question. Where is the empirical proof?
What is proof to you?
Logbooks.
What is proof to you?
Easy, logbooks. Just like Ellis Island, they have logbooks. You can go to Ellis Island right now, right? Well, it's closed, but they got the documents of over 12 million Europeans on record, right? Names, European names. They even changed some of them. So I'm asking you, where are the logbooks of 400,000 Africans?
It has the writings from Henry the Navigator.
Okay, where are these?
Diego Gomez.
Bro, I'm asking you, where can you find them? 400,000 Africans in a logbook. Where can you find it?
It's in the library. The text is in the libraries.
There is,
and it's in the museums.
Okay.
All you have to go do is read. Go read it and study
I've read. There is no. Okay. Have you heard of Henry Louis Gates?
Stop making up fantasies. Okay, because you failed to read.
Bro, Henry Louis Gates.
Because you failed to read, you want to sit up here and make up your own pseudo history. Bro, it don't work like that.
Okay, bro, where's
you got to go read and study and know the truth.
I'm asking you again. Okay, give me the documents. Where?
Did the slave trade happen?
To America from Africa? No, only a few thousand Africans came.
I wouldn't go that far. I do believe the slave trade happened, and I do believe it was a few 100,000 people that got dropped off on the shores of the USA. I do believe that much.
Okay, my brother. Notice what you said. Hang on, bro. Notice what you said. You believe. I didn't say if you believe. Proof. There's no proof.
No. If you don't believe it, then I'm not gonna argue with you about whether or not you believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we're talking about belief, I don't care, because people believe space aliens come to Earth and kidnap people. I'm talking about
let's talk about
hey guys, we gotta close out. Everyone, thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Guys, make sure you stream the documentary.searchforwho.com. Again, go to documentary.searchforwho.com and stream the documentary. Well, hold on. Let me Northeast Groovin Diners. I understand this is a roundtable style, but at least have real scholars. I put the link in the chat room. If you are a real scholar, you're more than welcome to click on the link and call in. I mean,
no, we don't need real scholars. They lie a lot. They lie and make up stuff. So
yeah. I mean, if you consider yourself a real scholar, you're more than welcome to click on a link and call in. Documentary.searchforwho.com. Please support the documentary. I would greatly appreciate it. Everyone who is watching this, if you have not bought my documentary, please go and buy it. It is streaming now. Again, documentary.searchforwho.com. I will greatly appreciate it. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, Search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.